Tell, Cockerel. He's just a true guy. You'll have a true time. Tell, Cockerel. Leave your troubles at the door. You know the game, you know the score. We're here to have fun, so holster that gun and read the writing on the wall. The predictions leak, done every week. It just goes on and 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 on. Why do I always get it wrong? Tell, Cockerel. He's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. Tell, Cockerel. Jose gets himself around. Always talking Spurs, wherever he is found, home or away. He always tips to win, throws the form book in the bin with a cheeky knowing grin. Tell, Cockerel. He's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. Tell, Cockerel. Every time I play along, tell Cockerel. The show is so chilled, your time is well filled. If you want good friendly chat, then here's where it's at. Tell Cockerel. It just goes on and 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 on. Why do I always get it wrong? Tell Cockerel. The show is so chill, your time is well filled. If you want good friendly chat, then here's where it's at. Tell Cockerel.
Good morning, everyone. Saturday the 12th of July. Good evening as well, sorry, and good afternoon to everyone. I hope you're all well. And welcome to the channel. And today we've got a members call-in show. I try to do one at least once a month. And I looked up and I thought to myself, boy, I'm right on the button of getting another one in. So I thought I'd get one in now because who knows what next week will bring. So without further ado, there's already someone in the back that was in the back when I first logged in this morning. And I don't know if it's the first time he's been on here, but he's been on many other channels as a member. And it's the lovely Ryan.
Jose.
Good morning. Good morning, Ryan.
Once before on one of my old channels. That was because I remember you was on with me once when we had a debate, but I don't think I've ever been on with you before. And thank you for that gifted that gifted membership as well. I can't thank you enough for that, man.
No, that's all right. No, what I was meant is I've seen you, Ryan, on other channels as a member, going on memberships.
Yeah.
So I've seen you on the Irish Hotspur. I've seen you go on a member show for Savers channel.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, I've seen you go on other member, but it's the first time I've seen you on a member show here. But I'm happy to see you, mate. How are you?
Oh, do you know what? I'm absolutely happy myself at the moment. I'm not as happy as I was before yesterday morning, but I'm a lot more. I'm a little bit. I'm more unhappy today than I was yesterday morning. Let's put it like that.
Fantastic, fantastic. Let me say hello to a few people in the chat and then we can get cracking on. So this morning we've got, oh, is it going to come up? It's not coming up. Let me have a just, oh, there it is. There it is. Right, so you've got Shem Tab says, good morning, Mr. Bossman Jose. Hope you're well today and staying cool in this heat. People forget that I'm Spanish, got Spanish blood, so the heat doesn't affect me as much as others. Jimmy Hotspur's here. Big up Jose in the chat. Good morning, Jimmy. I hope you are well, sir. Got the lovely Graham. Says, morning, Jose. Hot enough for you, mate? Like I said, mate, Spanish blood means I don't get affected as much as others. So, and you've got Queen Ellie Matters. Hello, Jose. Lovely to see you back. Much love. Good morning to you, Ellie. I hope you're well. You stay up all night entertaining people in the WhatsApp group. So I don't know when you get your sleep. You've got Ronnie's here. Ronnie says, hello, Jose Coys. Good morning, Ronnie, mate. It's been a while. I hope you are well, sir. Vindaloo, big up, Jose. In bed, nursing the hangover, just popping in to say hi and just smash the likes and stuff. Vindaloo, when have you never got a hangover on a Saturday morning? Superb. Peter, good evening to you, Peter. Nice to see you, mate. It's been a while. Says hi, all 7-8 in Melbourne. Peter, I hope you are well all the way in Melbourne at this time of the evening for you. And you got David Clark from Leicester. Says hi from Leicester. Hope everyone is in the chat as well. Clearing my garage out, so can't stay long. Good morning and thank you for popping in, David Clark. I hope you and the family are well. Right, Ryan, floor's yours,
Yeah.
mate. It's all about the members. So what you got to say, mate?
Well, I'm confused for starters. Why the hell is this? Where's this gone wrong with Morden Gibbs White situation? Because I haven't got a clue. I'd love to know if you've got any answers. Tell me, please, because where's it all gone wrong?
Well, when you're saying gone wrong, what do you mean by gone wrong?
Because it looks like it might be falling through now because of Nottingham Forest.
Okay, so the latest is that they expect the medical to be completed sometime over the weekend and everything to go through.
Really?
Yeah.
Because the last time I knew, last night, was that it was halfway from falling out.
Let me see if
And
I
not
can
being
find
able
something whilst you're talking. Carry on. Whilst you're talking, I'll see if I can find anything on because there's stuff on X everywhere about it.
Yeah, and it's confusing me at the best of times, to be honest, as well, because like 1 minute it's off, next minute I'm hearing it's on, next minute it's off again, and then it's like, what's going on? But kudos though to Levy. I had to put that pun in, otherwise I would never, I would never get a chance to do that ever again. But no, kudos to Levy because he's done well so far with kudos. And hopefully we can get the best out of him this year, to be honest, as well, Jose. I don't know what you think about it. If you think, where do you think his best position is, though?
Who's that?
Kudos.
Do you know what? I think that instead of worrying about positions, this isn't going to be today. Today for me is not the way that we're starting the season. Because there's still going to be more incomings and there's going to be plenty of outgoings, and I think the lines in the sand will become clearer once you get your incomings and your outgoings. Then it'll be clearer who's doing what and who's playing where.
Yeah.
Kudos for me can play. It all depends on the systems that that Frank wants to play, because for me you can play Kudos left, right, as a 10, as a false 9. There's many positions you can play Kudos in. Likewise, with Morgan Gibbs White, you can play Morgan Gibbs White as an 8. You can play Morgan Gibbs White wide. You can play Morgan Gibbs White as a 10. Probably not a false 9. So, they're very versatile, both of them, and they'll fit in straight away. I've got a feeling that Gibbs White will play out on will play as an 8. And I've got a feeling that, not in all the games, but he'll play as an 8. And I think Kudos will probably play off wide to start off with. But again, it depends. We're going to have 3 games a week, Ryan. And with 3 games a week means we're going to have to rotate the team. And the luxury we've got, I mean, you start think for yourself how many attacking options we've got. You know,
Yeah,
you'd be able to rotate them attacking options.
yeah, and that's a good thing. That's always
Yeah.
a good thing to have. The only thing I am a little bit concerned about though is we need to. I don't like Solanke, and if you've been watching channels that I know you have, you know what I think about Solanke. But
But
I think with
for those people that have,
Jonathan,
for those people that might not have watched you, Ryan, tell people why you don't like Solanke.
I just don't like Solanke. He's not a full. He's not my kind of striker. When he first came in, he had one good season, and I honestly don't. I just don't like Solanke, and I would rather have had an Ivan Toney come in at that time. But then I'm always getting criticised saying, yeah, but he always wanted to go to he wanted the Saudi league from the get go. But then when we got Solanke in beforehand, we could have easily, instead of gone and got a one season wonder, we could have gone and got Ivan Toney, who was proven in the Premier League to do it for more than one season. And that's why I don't like Solanke. He's not proven.
I'm trying to see if I can see. I'm
But
sorry. Whilst you're talking, I'm still trying to find the articles because I've read them all this morning before coming on. But yeah, apparently Gibbs White is being done this weekend.
Oh, is it? Okay, so it's back on again then.
Yeah.
Because it was off and then it's on and out and then it was off and now it's back on again.
I just think it delayed it. I just think it delayed it. It's delayed it by a day or so. That's all I think it's happened. It's delayed it by a day or so. But according to, and I'll see if I can find it. But according to what I was reading this morning, they're saying that Tottenham feel that there's no legal case coming against them at all.
Okay, so
And
we can
the
get rid of
sign,
other business.
the medical's been done, or mostly been done, and the paperwork was sent the day before on the Thursday evening, so they expect it all to
Right.
be done.
Fair enough. I mean, so it is back on again then, because
Yeah,
I'm hearing so many people that are worried saying, and then it's like they're saying, in other words, that well, it might not get done, but then it's like they're worried, like I won't say names because I don't want to call out other people, but I'm hearing, all I'll say is I'm hearing things that where people seem to be getting worried. Where when you got people saying, and then you got other people in other chats saying, well, he's not a good player. I'm glad he's not getting done. But then that's not the way we should be thinking. We should be thinking that any player that can walk straight into that first team is a lot better. And that's what we've. And do you know what? It's funny because I was doing a show on my channel the other day, and I even said the same thing. Like, what's going on here? Where's our Daniel gone? Because was he a clone? That we've now just woken up 25 years later to see the real Daniel Levy, or what?
yeah.
It's funny. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot going on behind the scenes, I believe. But right, sorry. Do you know what? Whilst I've been searching for that, a load of people have been saying things in the chat, and I've missed it all. So, James talks Spurs. So I know James talks Spurs. That's James. I know James is. He's changed his name a few times, but he's now James Talks Spurs. So he's become a new member. So welcome back, James. I hope you and your family are well, because I know that you've had some stuff going on. So I hope everything is really, really well in your world, mate. David Clark says, don't worry about Gibbs' White transfer. The Forest owners lost the plot because the Forest fans have gone crazy on social media. And for PR purposes, he's had to react. Jimmy Hotspur is saying, Ryan, don't worry, mate. It's happening when the Forest boss calms down. So that you got people telling you there. Shemtab says, best news I heard today. Dick Advocaat renewed his contract with the Curacao national team. And the headline was, Dick extends. Bloody brilliant. David Clark says, Kudus plays off the right. He can break the line with pace on the outside, but can also cut inside. Wayne Bonner says, "Good morning, Jose, and everyone in the chat. Hope you're well and all well and enjoying this weather. Good morning to you, Wayne. Again, I hope you and the fam and everyone in your world is well as well. Finn, it's good morning, young Finn. Says big up Jose Ryan in the chat. Finn, if you finished your studies, is that it, or are you back to next year as well? Are you just chilling for the summer, or are you waiting for results, mate? But nice to see you here. Mark's here. Says morning all. Good morning to you, Mark. Look at that. Good evening, Daykaru. Says hope everyone's well. Good evening, Day. I hope you're well, sir, out there. I've been following your posts that you've been putting up. Um, there's some lovely scenery that you've been putting up. Really, really nice. Henry's come in and says, "Free Morgan Gibbs White." David Clark says, Kulusevski's pace is most at risk with these new signings. And if we sign any more players, the youngsters will not get a look in. And then you've got Graham says, Solanke is a beast. He's saying Solanke is a beast. James is saying, big up Jose. It's been a while. I said it's been a while, James, but like I said, I hope you and the fam are well because I know that you had stuff going on, mate. David Clark then says, we could not have got Ivan Toney because his wages demands were ridiculous. Jimmy H says, competition for places is always healthy. No shoe-ins should be the way forward. Tony is not a Spurs type player, would not fit in on so many levels, says Graham. Shemtam, 7-month member, says, forget Waldo, where's Mr. Chang? Yes, Chang. I've not spoken to Chang in a few weeks. And then you've got, if Spurs had paid the extra 10 million, we could have got Gibbs White instead of Johnson. I don't know whether he had his release free clause 2 years ago, though, David Clark. I'm not sure whether that kicked in or it's only just kicked in this year because no one's been in for him at the moment. Jimmy Oxford says, I'm beginning to think Levy's power is diminishing behind the scenes. We'll talk about that because Ryan has given him props a minute ago. James says, yeah, doing okay, thank you. How you doing? Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. Still living the life. You know how it is. Still living the life. Still around. Maybe not as much, but I don't come on as much because during the season, there's always things to talk about. For Tottenham, in all honesty, like Ryan said, right? He didn't say this, but he was alluded to. I think he's alluding to. Tottenham was so quiet for the last couple of weeks. Tottenham has been ultra quiet, and people have been. I'm not saying you, Ryan, but people within the fan base have been losing their mind. Look, everyone started signing. We're slow to the blah 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 blah, and people were saying this, and I did a stream about 10 days ago, and I said I'm calm because at the end of the day, I think the first transfer window was definitely opened for the teams that were playing in that Club World Cup. Then you've also got the 30th of June, which is the cut-off date for the books to be balanced, and everyone was balancing their books for the 30th of June because that's last year's finances they've got to provide for the FA or the Premiership. So therefore, I always thought that from the 1st of July onwards were when deals were going to get done. And all I've got to say is Tottenham have acted quickly and Tottenham have acted stealthily. So Tottenham have been stealth for the last 3 years. All the in the nose and the in the nose out there, if you read up the stories that they put out there, they're like I keep saying, season in, season out. My saying is they're all holding AK-47s, they're spraying bullets and hoping that one hits because they're all talking about we're linked to X, Y, Z. Who had us linked to Mohamed Kudus? I think last Friday was the first time Kudus was mentioned, saying that Tottenham were in talks, and bang, we're signing him.
Yeah,
Morgan
do you
Gibbs
know
White.
what, Jose?
Morgan Gibbs White, guys. It came overnight. Morgan Gibbs White. They said on Thursday, late on Thursday, Tottenham have triggered his release clause. He's signing tomorrow. He's having a medical tomorrow. That is stealth. They're not telling everyone their business. They're just going out and doing it. So, but they're two brilliant signings for Tottenham.
Yeah, no, but do you know what though, Jose? It's weird because I know you was trying not to put me in that category, but I was actually in that category as well. I was
Okay.
in that category of losing my mind. Like, where's these signings coming? Where are they? They need to be getting done. Like, and there was nothing, and it was just silent. And I was one of those in that cat. So you could have put me in that category, but obviously you didn't know where I stood on that until just a minute ago. But yeah, I was in that category of like, where are we going to be getting signings from? Because I was losing my mind. I wanted something getting done, and it wasn't.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm just talking in general because I did I did read. Sorry, I did. Like I said, I did a show 2 weeks ago, but obviously, I mean, I've been busy with work and with home stuff and that. But I do read up on a daily, and I do catch up with the news. And I could see that people were absolutely going mad. Tottenham ain't doing nothing, blah blah blah. And in the end, I just thought to myself, at the end of the day, Tottenham will do stuff. Now to what we've actually done, I knew we'd do stuff, but I was kind of taken aback because of the signing of Kudos and Gibbs White. So what we've actually done, we've gone to other teams. This time round, we've picked Premiership proven players and probably the best players at each team. Do you see what I mean? So we're not going for an also rang. We've gone for players that are the best at each team. And these players are at such an age, I think it's 24 and 25. It's Kudos and Morgan Gibbs White, that they're at an
I think
age
so.
where you're going to get the best out of them over the next 5 years. Do you see what I mean? You will get the best out of them. And I said on a show, I was on Savage yesterday, I think it was. It must have been yesterday. Yeah, yesterday evening, Savage did a show about. I think it was he did a surprise show. He was surprised about what was going on. It was either yesterday or the day before, and I went on and I turned around and said, "Look, at the end of the day, it's a bit like someone here in the chat said earlier. The youngsters ain't going to get a look in." I turned around and said, "Last year, all I heard was the fan base crying out for. You've got Odebert, you've got Tell, you've got Bergvall, you've got Gray, you've got all these youngsters. Who are they going to learn from, right? Who are they going to learn from? Well, you even though they're 24 and 25, Ryan, in my eyes, and I said this the other day, in my eyes, Kudos and Gibbs White are players that you can learn from. Even though they're 24 and 25, they're not in their 30s, but they're Premiership proven. They've been around. They're really good players, and the youngsters will learn from them. So we're finally getting players in. One that they're good enough, Premiership proven, and the youngsters will learn from.
Yeah, and do you know what? At the beginning of this, before we even started making any signings, right? And this is just, I was saying we would only get 10th at the before we had Kudos or Gibbs White coming. Now I'm looking at saying we could easily get a European place now next season via the league. I
Okay,
don't know
so
which European place we'll get, but we will get a European place just by them two alone. And
so not
and
yeah,
that's
so
and if we go on, oh
yeah,
sorry, go on.
sorry, no, you're right, Ryan. Normally, I'm just going to say, normally European places by the league is 7, but if
Mm.
England do well again this year and get the 5th place in the Champions League, like they did this year, then it could go down to 8. So what you're saying is that you now think that Tottenham could finish in the top 7 or the top 8.
I'm saying top into the top 6 is where
Top
as
6,
far as I'm
okay, all
going.
right.
Just with those two signings alone, right? If we can get rid of Brennan Johnson, I'd be happy because he can't. From my personal opinion, for anyone that doesn't know why I don't like Johnson, he's a tapping merchant, and I don't like tapping merchants scoring every single game, and he can't take on a man. So I really don't want anything to do with Johnson at this club anymore. If he goes, fine. Bring in another a good winger because he's not experienced enough in the Premier League, and it's not that he's not experienced. He's just not good enough.
Yeah. Vindaloo has put in a super chat. I think Vindaloo, you must be really pissed, and the reason why I'm saying that is because you're saying talk about how upset you are about the Gibbs transfer is doing wonders for my hangover. No one's upset. So you must still be pissed because no one's upset. We're all saying that he's still coming and we're not upset. So I don't know whether you're hearing us right. The hangover must be really kicking in, Vindaloo. Graham's, but thank you for the super chat. It's very kind of you. Graham is saying Spurs are a giant jigsaw puzzle. The pieces are now falling into place. Patience is always the key. Dekaru says, don't read this. Darn it, you read it. Dekaru is putting his member chat in. He's been a member for 12 months. He's been with me from day one because I have now had memberships for a year. So thank you very much, Dekaru. And I should have thanked Graham as well from the last show I did, because Graham has also been with me from day one. So thank you very much, guys, for supporting me. David Clark says, if you Spurs fans think the release of this money is down to Levy, you are wrong. The Lewis Trust have bought in Charrington, ex-CEO of Citibank and ex-CEO Arsenal. So the cash has not been released by Levy. I've now pinned the member chat. If anyone else wants to become a member and wants to come on, because today's a member show, you're more than welcome to do so, because then you'll see the link for the show. So that's now been pinned. He says, I'm going back to bed. Have fun. Vindaloo, take care of yourself, mate. Lee Wiz, good morning, Jose et al. Hope you're all well. Good morning, Wiz. I hope you're well, sir. I hope you're well. It's just today, Caro, mate. Blank, he's hanging. Good morning, Archer says, good morning, all. Good morning, Archer. I hope you and the family are well, sir. Nice to see you here. David Clark says, the CEOs have been bought in by Joe Lewis Trust, and the investment has come from there. A takeover is imminent, and also the ground sponsorship are all but done. And now we have the right coach. Johnny, the Cockney Hotspur show, says, quick hello to Graham, Jose, and the Baked Potato off to Tottenham via the Blue and Bethnal. Have a lovely day. Have a lovely day at Tottenham. Rain Man is here. Says, morning, folks. Good morning, Rain Man. I hope you're well. Nita says, good morning, Jose and chat. I'm just listening in, Coys. Good morning, Nita. I hope you and the family are well. Thanks for listening in. Rain Man says, love Rhino's truth bombs. There you go. Good morning.
Can I just say something? Sorry.
Yeah, go on.
Jose, right, this is the first time me and Rayman have actually agreed on anything, because normally we, like you've probably seen, we don't agree on anything, but for once I'm glad that we are actually on the same page, because I love it when we're all together. I'm literally getting onto the point of happy clapping again.
Good. Kev Clark, who's a colleague of mine at work. Kev says, morning, Jose. Morning, Kev. I hope you had a really good holiday, mate. And congrats again on being granddad again, mate. All the best to you and the Clark family. Nigel Purecoy says, ooh, harsh on BJ. Big up, chaps. Good morning to you, Nigel. I hope you're well, sir. I hope you're well. David Clark says, Spurs fans, stop this BS about we should do this or that and should finish here or there. Just enjoy the fact that we signed good players and be excited for the start of the season. Oh, Mr. Clark.
That's a bit of a dodgy thing to be saying.
Steve D's here, says, morning, Jose. Look at us go. Come on, you Spurs. Good morning, Steve. I hope you and the family are well as well, mate. Nice to see you. Spud's changed his name. He's Harmless Potato. The just has gone. Says, hola, Jose. Hey, chat. Hello, Spud. Good morning to you, mate. I hope you're well. And then you've got Paige has joined us. Says, morning, Pete. Good morning, Paige. I hope you're well. Right, Ryan. Yeah, it's kind of weird, isn't it? I mean, Sava turned around and said the other day that there are still people out there moaning about the signings that we're making. You know, there's still people that are moaning. And I said to Sava the other day, I said, where I've not seen anyone moan. Where are people moaning? And this is when he was on his show, and he said, don't worry, you'll see it. So whilst I've been on the show, I was looking at the chat as people were chatting, and I couldn't see anyone being negative about the signings at all. So to me, you said this earlier, Ryan, right? You said this a few minutes ago, actually. You said it's kind of weird that you're agreeing and other people are agreeing with you, and we seem to be all agreeing with each other. These two signings and what's going on at Tottenham at the moment, or what's perceived to be going on at Tottenham at the moment, is certainly uniting the fans, isn't it?
No, it's actually not. It's like Sava said, Jose, right? It's uniting some other people that it didn't unite before, but there are still people that are turning around saying that, how can I put this without trying to use colourful language, that Gibbs White is not the best. he's average. I'm hearing that being spread around on channels. There's people saying that Kudos is average as well. He doesn't walk into the first team. I'm hearing Brendan Johnson is better than Kudos, and I'm like, no. And so it's weird because it's uniting some of us. Some people that have not agreed in the past. It's uniting some, but not all. And I have to agree with Savile on that. It's people want the flashy, sexy names. Do you know what I mean? Like your Mbappe's and your Musialas, and I'm just throwing names out there, even though I know we're not going to get them. Like, but do you know what I mean? Like they want them kind of names because they're sexy names, but they wouldn't work in a Thomas Frank in Thomas Frank's style.
Right, but the thing for me though, right, is with everything, all the noise. It doesn't matter where you sit, all right, and your views that matter to you, they're important to you, and I mean this for everybody. Your views that you'll have are important to you, right? But with whatever views that you may have as an individual about Tottenham, I think, and it's my opinion only, I think it's united people in whatever views they come from, whatever stance they come from. What's happening over the last few days has united fans more than divided fans, because you've got the people that were you've got people that leave you out, you've got people that are leave you in, you've got people that are against this, you've got people that are against that. But signing the two players that we've signed, right, in Kudos and Gibbs White, and then also the news about the investment, and the news that maybe Levy is having to take a back step. Still involved, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to say he's not involved, because he certainly is, but not at the front and the forefront of everything. I think with where people are coming from with their views, I think it's actually uniting people a lot more than dividing people. So I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I mean, today I'm reading that they reckon that it's not only the stadium rights. They reckon that there's going to be a sale as well of Tottenham, and then they're all naming Aramco, the biggest oil company in the world, which is Saudi Arabian. They're saying that they're the ones that are taking over. So there's a lot of news that's out there now. The money that Tottenham have spent. Ryan, let me put it this way. I've always felt that Tottenham have money, right? I've always felt they have, but we always plead poverty. We plead that we're skin all the time, and we ain't got money to spend. We've got to sell to buy, and that may be the case, because every club needs to sell to buy. You've got to balance the book somehow. So if you're bringing players in, you've got to let players go out. You can only have a squad of a certain size. At the moment, I think the last count, Tottenham had a squad of about 33 players. So we've got to whittle that down to 25. So therefore, players have got to go, and you're hoping that you will get some money for some of these players. So it's not rocket science that your players you've got to buy to sell, or sell to buy. You've got to do either as a club. But 115 bit large ones on two signings, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Tottenham don't normally spend two large ones like that. The last time we did that was, I think the last time we did that was when we bought in Ndombele and Lo Celso. Was the last time we spent two big money signings in the same transfer window type thing. But with these two players, as I said earlier, people can see that these two players are the best players at their respective teams. They are Premiership proven.
Yeah, and to be honest, right, it's weird because it's like Savaki has said, and I agree with Savile with this. I think it was Savile. It was someone that said this, and I'm pretty sure it was Savile. But we are moving differently at the moment. We are not moving like the normal poverty-struck thing that we normally do. And it's weird because I've not felt this good about a transfer window in God knows how long. It's that long, Jose, that I've lost count when the last time I even thought we had a good transfer window.
Yeah. Sorry, I just need. I can't catch up with the chat again. Where was we? We was up here. Sorry. Let me have a look.
No, you're
I need
good.
to catch me up. Says, cheers, Jose. Yeah, scary time taking off Cristiano Ronaldo Airport, lol. But the new Spurs fan, Cody, doing well. Very happy about the signings. Hopefully more to come. Kev, if I remember rightly, I've been to this airport. Is this Madeira, the Cristiano Ronaldo Airport? Because if it is, I've been there to Madeira, and when you fly into it, it's got such a short runway, but when you fly into it, it's all rocks because it's an island. It's all rocks that you see, and it is really, really scary landing and takeoff. I think you're talking about Madeira because I think I've been there before, and it is scary. Um, Vindaloo. Vindaloo said he was leaving us. He's still here. He says, Nita, well, the room is still spinning. I must go to bed. Have fun. Harmless Potato says, Harmless Potato is saying, and I've added the trophy to the profile pic, fighting with the tablet. I can see him there. Look, the potato's there, and the Europa League trophy's right next to him. I didn't notice that first time around, Spud, but no, well done. It's superb. It's a nice addition to your moniker. Graham says we are building one of the quickest teams in the league. Both Kudos and MGW have the pace and power. True, true, true. Paces, don't worry. Be happy, Spurs, doing bits for once, and who knows what is there's to come. And this is coming from a Man U fan, so you know they're saying that we should be happy. Nige says, sadly, the fan base will never be totally united, but I'm loving the direction the club is going in now. Steve D, it says that we're going to be the new Galacticos. Come on, you effing Spurs. Rainman says there are so many Spurs fans. Of course, we are a range of opinions. Some of those will never trust what's going on until Levy and Enoch have nothing to do with the club. Graham says, bang the thumbs up button, folks. Let's get Jose to 1,200 subs. God, if I don't even chase the subs anymore, Graham, because you know it's to me it's a pointless exercise. Either you watch or you don't, and you sub or you don't. I don't really tell people what to do that anymore. The like button I do though, because the like button supposedly gets you out there, but my channel is so small compared to these big massive ones that I'm not sure whether the algorithm would ever work for me anyway. Nigel Peel, of course, says worth 23 billion by all accounts. Geez, just give me that loose change. This is the guy who owns Aramco Oil, the oil company. The guy who owns it is worth 23 billion pounds. Tottenham Ranger says pleading poverty is a good thing, and then says, look at every rival fan. They wish they had our chairman, says Tottenham Ranger. Paige is saying,
sorry, Jose, who's said that they would want our chairman? I've not heard that, Jose. And this is what really, see what I mean? There's people that are trying to just bring the downers on what is being good at the moment. And that's exactly what Savin means by that. And I agree with him. But who has said that they would want our chairman? I haven't heard no other fan base say that.
West Ham are saying it. because Tottenham went and pulled Sullivan, who's their chairman, went and pulled their pants down and got Kudos for 55 when his 85 million release clause. So they're saying they wish they had Levy as their chairman because Levy wouldn't have got mugged off the same as Sullivan did. So West Ham are definitely saying it, Ryan, at the moment.
Well, they must be the only ones then, because I've not heard anyone else say it then. Because this is the first I'm hearing about this. Do you know what? Then let's get our owners in, and then let's give them Levy. Then simple, easy.
Forrest said this when we went and did the Johnson deal. The Forest fans were saying that they wish they had Levy because Tottenham ended up getting Johnson for cheaper than what Brentford had offered for him. Brentford had offered 10 million more than what Tottenham did. And the following month, we went in and we got him at a cheaper price. And now we've gone and got Gibbs White. And they're like saying, you know, how dare Tottenham? There's a lot of people that are envious. But the thing is, I don't believe it's Levy either. Again, I don't believe it's Levy that's been leading all this. I think you've got as David Clark said earlier, you've got Peter Charrington's been brought into the club by the Lewis Trust. You've got Vinay Venkatesham there now as well, and I think that more of the footballing side has gone to these chaps. And yeah, I did say Levy's still about, but I'm not sure whether he's like front and he's a poster boy anymore. He used to be the poster boy. I'm not sure whether he's the poster boy anymore. Jimmy Oxford says perhaps now we can become more ruthless in selling our unwanted players. We got 12 I could name immediately. Yeah, here he is. Look, Tottenham says rival fans give praise to Levy for shagging them dry, and that's what Levy's been doing. He's been, if they're going to blame Levy for some of these transfers, or or whoever it is at Tottenham, they are, gutted that they're losing some of their players. Page says we still got some players at the circus if you want them. So she's saying they've still got some at Man United. Plead poverty and get deals done, says Tottenham Rangers. Spurs, GCC says Spurs have been building something over the last decade that is now very worthy of investment. It's now a no-brainer with the stadium, events, etc. Like I said, patience is always the key. If people watch my show that I did on Thursday, I told people that I spent, I think it was around 350 quid at the stadium on Thursday, going to the concert with my daughter and getting football tops and merchandise and stuff like that. And I felt that I was part of the money that came in and was spread around for these transfers. It's only 350 quid, but I still think that I played a part because I was there last week.
Who did you watch, Jose? Was it 50 Cent or?
Yeah, Mary J. Blige. Mary J. Blige, 50 Cent, and Boogie with a Hoodie. My daughter wanted to go to it, didn't have no one. She wanted the tickets. And Phil P, Phil P, he had a couple of tickets and she really wanted them, but couldn't find no one to go with. So in the end, I agreed to not only buy the tickets, but I agreed to go with her. All I've got to say, and I said this on Thursday, is my daughter is still beaming from ear to ear. She absolutely loved it. And I did say the story on Thursday. You won't, but right, we're in the south stand, right near the top near the god. So we had barriers or rails or whatever you want to call, because that's how high up we were. And in between the set of Mary J. Blige and 50 Cent, Phil P standing next to me he goes into his pocket. He had workman trousers on, but he goes into his pocket. He pulls out a change for Tottenham banner. He told me to hold one end of it, and we're in the south stand holding up the time to change Tottenham banner. And I tell you what, we got a round of applause from the people around us. They were like, "Yay!" And you could hear it because they were changing the set, so there was no music at the time. And he's taking a picture, Phil P, of me and him holding this change for Tottenham banner. So yeah, it was a really good day out that we had, and my daughter absolutely loved it.
You must have made Levy change his mind then on
That's
everything.
what I said.
If it was leaving.
And that's what I said on Thursday in the show. I said I think we played a part in it.
Round of
Right.
applause for Jose.
Kevin Clark says, "Yep, certainly is. We saw many not able to land low as the hotel was close to the runway." Right. Madeira's a lovely place. Obviously, if you were near the airport, you must have been in Funchal, because Funchal is the main place on the island, isn't it? So yeah, I had. Did you spend time in the marina? I went down to the marina in Funchal, Kevin. I had many a good drink and a good night. I actually went on a football tour when I was playing football, and we played Nacional, and we played another team who escapes me now, who are in the Portuguese or were in the Portuguese First Division. We played against their reserve sides in a competition out in Madeira. So they flew us out there and they put us up in the hotels and we had a really good time in Funchal. So I hope your holiday was good as well. Tottenham says, why can't United get Mbeumo over the line? Because Brentford know they have money and are holding out for 75 mil. If that was us, it'd be worth 55 mil, and and that's called Levynomics. Colin B's here. Good morning, Colin, mate. I hope you're well. It's been a while. I hope you and the fam are well, mate. Morning, gents. Hope all is well. Good morning to you, sir. Oh, look at that. We've got Rory. We've got Kate. Says, big up, Jose. Kate and Jimbo, the perfect match. Good morning to you, Kate.
Good morning to you, Kate and Jimbo.
Ain't it Jim's birthday today? If I think it is, and if it is, happy birthday, Jim, from all of us, everyone in the chat.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to Jim. Pace says, I'm so done with this Embuemo deal, not going to lie. Get it over the line or just pull out. This is just ridiculous at this point. People saying hello to Kate. Nita.
But
Nita says,
oh,
it ain't weird. It's
oh,
money
oh,
in property and public transport. Billions in the mix. We need to keep Tottenham Hotspur on the football map. Tottenham till I die.
oh, Jose, can I just quickly ask you something, mate?
Go on.
Because I'm hearing this narrative at the moment, yeah, right, that we want to get rid of Son, right? Now, would you be happy if we did sell Son and brought Embuemo in as his replacement? Would you be happy with that as his replacement?
Let me just answer that. Let me catch up with the chat because I'm so slow
Yeah,
on the chat. I'll catch up with the chat and then we can talk about that as well. Um,
yeah.
It is his birthday. Look, because she says birthday boy is on the phone. He loved his present. Cheers, Steve. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy
Oh,
birthday, dear Jimbo. Happy birthday to you. Now there you go. You get a
happy birthday,
rendition
Jim.
from me. Um, Phil Coys is in the house. Says big up everyone. Come on, you Spurs. Good morning to you, Phil. To you and your family, mate. It's been a while. I hope you are well, sir. I hope you're well as well. Paige says, happy birthday, Jimbo. Hopefully Spurs give you a present with another signing. Yeah, we'll announce kudos today. Steve D has put super chat in, super sticker in, and says, happy birthday, Jimbo. Yes, happy birthday. And you got a rendition from me as well. Um, Marianne's here. Good morning, Marianne. I hope you are well. Says happy birthday, Jimbo. We're all saying happy birthday. Look, the birthdays are all going out there. Happy birthday, Sir Jimbo. I hope you have a wonderful day and morning, Princess Kate. Tottenham Rain says, of course we'd be happy. They don't play in the same position. And everyone's saying happy birthday again to Jim. Right. So Ryan. Right. So
Yeah,
what's out there at the moment, mate? So as far as I've read, and as again, I'm not in the know, it's just a reading up that I do. As far as I've
yeah,
read, right, I saw conflicting reports. I saw a report about 2 weeks ago. I'm going to say 2 weeks ago. I saw a report saying that Sonny was leaving. And what would
yeah.
happen is that Sonny and Tottenham are contracted to play the game in Korea because we've got one friendly in Korea. And as soon as and Tottenham are contracted to take Sonny to Korea, and as soon as that game's finished, then Sonny would leave the club. He'd be up for sale, and the deals were being done in the background. It kind of made sense, right? Because at the time we re-signed Matthias Tell, um, and bearing in mind that you had Mikey Moore that can play out there, you still got Solomon at the club that can play out there. You got Richarlison if you want to move from the centre that can still play out there. So it kind of made sense hearing that story. However, a week ago, it was about a week ago, we then got the news saying someone broke the news to say that Sonny has decided to stay at the club. So I'm kind of like that at the moment because to me, if we're going to be buying more players, which I believe we are, by the way. I believe we're going to make another 3 signings that are not kids type thing. That's what my
Mm,
thoughts are. With this investment coming in and everything, to me, it makes sense that you go out now because we're in the Champions League next year. So to compete on all levels, we need some more players because our squad, for me, was woefully thin last year, and we need to bulk it up.
mm,
And you've got to bring players in. You've got to bring players in that will get straight into your first team. So the starters last year drop down and become good subs, if that makes sense. And the ones that were subs that weren't good enough last year, they leave your club, right?
mm,
So to me, I think to myself, it makes sense, seeing that he's got a year left on his contract. Next year, you're going to get nothing for him, right? Nothing. You won't get a penny for him next year. It'll go on a free. And you can either sell him this year and get some value for him. And when I mean value, I don't mean you got to sell him for £50 million because the guy's 32, 33, right? So to me, right, I'm not a penny pincher. If someone offered 10 million to take him off our hands, I'd accept the 10 million. He's given us 10 years of great service. You know, he's been with us. He's had chances to leave before, and he's given his all to Tottenham. He's always stayed. We've known that other clubs have come into him, and he's stayed. So if someone said we'll give you 10 million for him, I'd say okay. I'd shake hands with them and say yeah, go on. And I'd even do something for Sonny leaving. And make it a last hurrah type for him. And thank you for your
Mm.
service. But then, because you've got to move on, you've got to refresh your squad, and you've got to move on. I also look at Ryan currently on the books at Tottenham, centre half position, right? We got 10 centre halves there at the moment, and one of
Mm.
them centre halves of the 10 is Ben Davies. And
Yeah.
Ben Davies has been He's been a solid for Tottenham. He's been there for 10 years and stuff like that. He's a really good guy to have around the group and that and around the camp. But if this is the time that you say, well, Ben Davies has got a year left on his contract, right? If you're going to be penny pinching, you want to make some money with him, this is the time to let him go, right? And I don't know, you let him go for £2 million or something. Thank him for his service because he's been at the club for 10 years, and you let him go because like that you're getting money in, right? And it doesn't have to be loads, but what you're then saving is the wages as well because people just look at a fee, but then it's the wages you would have paid him out for another year. That also you could take that into account. So Sonny, if you let Sonny go to 10 million, then you've got to remember how much would we have paid salary wise for him for the next year as well. So to
Yeah.
me, I wouldn't be, me personally, and I know he's our captain. He lifted our trophy for the first trophy in 18 years, first European trophy in 41 years. I thank Sonny for his service, you know, and I would allow him to leave after that game. But then it's you've brought Kudos in already, right? Um, as I said earlier, you've got 33 players in your squad, Ryan. And to me, this is my own opinion. It's not facts. Opinion for me is that we've got to get down to 25 squad. So players have got to go. And to me, the prime candidates that I'm looking at is I think to myself, Sonny would be one. I think Solomon,
Mm.
Richie, Bissouma, Ben Davis. That only gives me 5 players, though. We need to get rid of more than 5. And we've got to remember as well, if we're going to bring more players in, for every other player you bring in, you've got to get a player out. Now, and I'm not including the youngsters that can go out on loan. So your people like your Ajayi, people are going to Mikey Moore, you know, people like
I
that.
think
You're gonna have Divine there. You're gonna have Donnelly back at the club. All these players that we're all saying are really good up and coming players. You're gonna need to um, send some of these out on loan. So we need to trim down what we've got. But at the end of the day, we've got to be sensible. But I'd thank people. I'd thank people for their service. It's not about, oh, I don't like him, let him go. People have worn our
Mm.
shirt. Now, whether you like the player or not, they've worn our shirt. And anyone that wears our shirt and plays for us, you've got to thank them, whether you like them or not. But with Sonny and with Davis, they've provided 10 years worth of service. And, at the end of the day, I think they should be applauded for that. But, you've got to be ruthless, Ryan, ain't you? You creating a
Yeah.
new squad, you've got to be ruthless.
And the thing is, though, right? I wouldn't put Mikey on loan next year, though, Jose. That's just my opinion. I would keep
Yeah.
him because I think Frank could get a hell of a lot out of him next year. That's just my personal opinion. I could be wrong, look, and if I'm wrong, I'll put my hands up and I'll come back on and I'll say, look, I was wrong. He needs to go on loan. But I think under Frank, we'll have just a whole better setup as well, and we won't be playing two in inverted wing backs or whatever you want to whatever you want to call them, because to me they're not wing backs, but to other people they say they are wing backs. But I would get rid of. I'd agree with you with Solomon getting rid of. I'd agree with you with Davis getting rid of. Richarlison getting rid of. getting rid of Solanke and then bringing in a whole new front forward line. Rumours saying that Romero wants to go. Well, fine, fair enough. That's fine with me. Get rid, because he only plays half a season anyway. And this is where I look at it. He only plays half a season. He doesn't play a whole season because either he's injured or he just doesn't have the attitude. And then when it comes up to an international break, he then is miraculously fit to play again. So he can go, and then bring in we've got a load of centre backs anyway. Someone else can, like what's his name? Danso could partner Mickey next year. Fair enough. That I'd sell Romero for about 80 million. I'd say for Romero. Say about 50 million for Sonny. 20 to 30 for Richarlison. 30 to 40 for Solanke. And then you're recouping money back as well in all that department. So and then we can go out and get 2 new strikers.
So let me just catch up with you. Marianne saying, good morning, Jose, and all. Good morning, Marianne. You were Tottenham Rangers says, I'd rather Tell starts over Son. The thing about Thomas Frank, you got right. Everyone's got to be fair here. Everyone said Thomas Frank's a great coach. Everyone said that Thomas Frank can upskill people. Thomas Frank has come out and said he wanted Matthias Tell. Thomas Frank has also said that he believes that he can change Tell's game, where Tell would be more attacking and more in the final third, right, and will add goals to his game. That's Thomas Frank talking and saying that, right? So at the end of the day, when people are saying, "Oh, I don't know about Tell," your manager, who you're all saying is a great, I'm not talking you, I'm talking the fan base. Your manager, who's supposedly a great coach and upskills players and that, he turns around and says, I'm going to make this player better. I've got reason to want him. I know what I'm going to do with him, and I'm going to upskill him, and he's going to be a really good player for us. Then people can't then turn their nose up and say, Tell. Your manager, you're backing him. Well, if you're backing him, then listen to what he's saying, because he said he's going to upskill him. He said he wanted him, and he'll upskill him, and he'll make him a better player. He said he did say that he won't be a touchline player. Brennan Johnson won't be a touchline player. He said already that, Tottenham are going to be playing differently under him. He's going to coach them. They're going to play differently. When you bring someone like Mohamed Kudus in, Kudus is an out-and-out. If you want to play him on the wing, he's an out-and-out winger. He goes inside and he goes outside. Yeah. In the last 2 seasons, I think there was a stat. No, I don't believe in stats. I think people were talking about stats saying that he has had the more carries and take-ons in the last 2 seasons than anyone else in the Premier League. So therefore, we are going to be playing different football next year. So let's forget the football that we played in the last 2 years, right? The same as we forgot what we played under Conte, because that was a different system. We then got a different system with Ange. Well, now we're going to get a different system with Frank, right? So all we got to do is, if we're going to back the manager and we say he's a great coach and that, let him cook, let him coach. If these are the players he wants, he gets paid the big bucks. You can't then turn around and overnight and say, well, the player's shit. The manager's saying that he can do something with him and he wants the player. Let's see what the manager can do with the player.
Well, Frank's my manager, so I'll take him by his word at this point. But then if I don't see an improvement out of Tell and out of Johnson, I want them both gone. That's the way that I look at it in January. I'll give him that time to give him that then, because I didn't know he said that. But now that he has said that, I'll give them 2 until January. And if they're not good enough and they haven't improved and they haven't done anything, I want them both gone by January then.
But that's the way that I look at it. But the way you need to remember it, Ryan, as well, is that we've got 4 comps next season, like we had this year. But the only thing is, one of the comps changes. We're not in the Europa League this year. We're in the Champions League. So therefore, we're going to need all hands on pump, right? So whether it's Kudus starting the majority of games, we're still going to need something out of Johnson. Every player in the squad Everyone who gets into that squad next year through new buys and whatever our final squad 25 is, everybody, and I mean every one of them 25 players, will have a part to play next season because there's a lot of games. They'll all have a part to play. There's a lot of games. If we're real and we want to get further in the League Cup, we want to also get further in the FA Cup. You know, we want to get further in the Champions League, and we want to have a good run in the Premiership. Then we're going to need our squad. It won't be our first 11. We're going to need our squad. And obviously, again, like everybody, and it's not just Tottenham, every team suffers injuries throughout the season. And what we need to have is a strong squad. And everyone's going to have to muck in. I'm going to say it now. Whoever the final 25 are, they're all going to have to muck in next year. Archer says Sonny's wages are about 10 million per year. Getting rid of him would free up space for our new highest hire. Highest earner, he meant, sorry. Highest earner, yeah. Tottenham Ranger is reminding us 11 goals in 11 games. I'll never forget Richie when he's fit. Graham is saying the final game on the Korean tour will be very telling in regards to Sonny, in my opinion. And it's quite weird because I've not got the friendlies up, but I think we've got six games pre-season, I think. And I think the Korean game might be the third game out of the six, because I think we're playing a game in Hong Kong, then we're playing another game against Bayern as well, and then we're playing we've got PSG to play as well. So I think that the Korean game is actually the third game in of the pre-season games. So yeah, you're quite right, Graham. It will be telling. Jimmy Oxford says, Gil, Veliz, Divine, Scarlett, Davies, Son, Richarlison, Lancashire, Donnelly, and 3 keepers need to go, in my opinion. Ooh, that's kind of. I don't know, but I don't know whether people want to get rid of Donnelly, Jimmy. I'm not going to say anything about the other players, but I'm not sure about Donnelly. I think Donnelly's one that they might loan out, or he might stay in the first team, might loan him out. But I don't think Donnelly's one of the ones that they want to sell, because Donnelly had a really good, loan. Okay, it was Leighton Orient, it was League One, but he had a really good loan. And on the back of that, Donnelly's now become an international footballer. So, because he's played first team for Northern Ireland, so he's now become an international footballer on the back of that. So I think Donnelly has value. It's all right having value, right? It's all right having value when you're not going to get a run, or you're not going to get a chance, and you're not that good, or you're deemed to be surplus. But I think that Donnelly is value, and I still think there's a player there. The other thing that people have got to look at is that Thomas Frank. And this is where people at Tottenham supporters don't like it. But Thomas Frank turned around and said, or supposedly said, I want to look at my squad. He said, on paper, I know a lot about them, because obviously he's played against Tottenham and he's set up teams against them. So when you set up teams against someone, you talk about the opposition. So he's talked about Tottenham players and what his thoughts are. But he's never seen them firsthand on a training pitch. So he said he wanted to look at the squad that he's got, and then he'll make decisions. And I think, in all honesty, Thomas Frank's been around the block. Thomas Frank knows the score. He's been around football for a long time. I think that Thomas Frank will look at the squad over the next week. I even think it might be a week. I think by the time they go to their first pre-season game, he will have known already by then who he thinks will fit, who he thinks won't, and he'll have a plan for each individual player going forward, whether it's to remain at the club, whether it's to go out on loan, whether it's to be sold, whether it's how the player is going to be used in the league, and whether he'll have all these plans in place. He's meticulous. He'll have this all in place, and I think he may well have this all in place by the time the first pre-season game comes. So I think that you'll start seeing movement quite soon. The other thing I will say is that for those people out there that have been watching the Tottenham videos on X, you can get the Tottenham videos of training, right? The first day back at training, they did that 1 kilometre run, right? That burnt out a lot of people. But Alejo Veliz was there on the first day doing that kilometre run. But in the background, they'd already agreed a year's loan to Rosario Central in Argentina. So therefore, don't be fooled. There's work going on at the moment for players to have exits from the club. They're working on that already in the background. They're just not telling us. They're not announcing it, and I think that you'll find that there's a lot going on at the club at the moment that we've not heard yet. Rain Man says, I think Mikey Moore is too young to go out on loan. He needs to spend time in our gym and on the training pitch. He will be swallowed up
Yeah.
by lower league football right now. Fair call. As I said, I'm just putting it out there, a load of names of the youngsters. I think a lot of the youngsters will go out. I mean, what do you do with Phillips? What do you do with Dorrington? Um,
I tell
is
you
it,
who I do like the sound of though, Jose. And you know the little 18-year-old who we just brought in because he needed to have 2 years away. That big, tall,
Vuskovic.
tall, yeah, Vriskovic. I'd have him in that starting 11 next season, Jose, straight from the get-go, definitely. Because from what I've heard, I haven't seen no highlight reels or anything, so I'm only going off of what I've heard. He is an absolute beast and a tank, and he is going to be the next, in my opinion, from what I'm hearing, the next Ledley King. Mark my words.
Right. So the thing about Vuskovic is 18 years of age. He's now got into the Croatian national team. I don't know whether he's played, but he got selected for the Croatian national team. When Tottenham purchased him at 16, they said that at that age he was better than Guardiol because Guardiol's Croatian as well. And they said that like for like at 16, Vuskovic is a better player than what Guardiol was at 16. Guardiola is now at Man City, and we've seen what Guardiola's done playing for Croatia. The thing about Vuskovic is that he stepped up for the 2 seasons he's been out on loan. He's gone from one league and stepped up to the next league. So he's played in Belgium last year. I can't remember. Did he play in the Croatian league? He played in the league before that. Then he's stepped up to Belgium. So they're slightly stepping him up. I'm sure that what's his name? I'm sure that Thomas Frank will look at him and assess whether it's his time to be in the squad or whether there's one more loan for him. And the step up again, they're talking about that if they do loan him and he doesn't stay, the step up will be Germany.
What would that be? The Bundesliga that they're talking
Yeah,
about, or the German
Bundesliga. Bundesliga.
Okay, well that sounds good then, because I would take that all day, Jose. And then if that, I'm back. I'm giving Frank a free pass for the whole of this season, so he's got a whole year to do what he needs to do and what he feels right. I'm not getting on this guy's back like I did with Ange. I'm not going to be like that with Frank. I wanted a coach in, and that's what I've got. So he's getting a whole 3 year away without me slaughtering him. So he's got a whole year to do what he wants to do and got to get done. So that's just my opinion.
Drula is a Franca. Good morning, Drula. I hope you and the family are well. Nice to see you. Says, hey, Jose and the Cockerel crew. Good morning to you, Drula. Have you given breakfast to your children yet? Because you seem to do absolutely everything for them. It's what mothers do. It's what mothers do. Rainman says, I would keep Lancashire, Donnelly, Divine, Phillips in the first team. They will get minutes in domestic cups and minor Premier League games. And if they step up, great. If they don't, we move them on next summer. You've got there's Vuskovic there as well. I can't remember. Is it Damiola Agi? One of them has been loaned. One of the youngsters has been loaned out to Doncaster Rovers for the season, and I can't remember whether it's Agi or whether it's another player. But anyway, whichever player that we've loaned out to Doncaster in their first pre-season friendly, he already scored a goal. So. They're hitting the ground running. Agi, so it is Agi Rainman, right? Yeah, Rainman's confirmed it's Agi. So Damiola Agi has gone to Doncaster Rovers on loan for the season, and he's scored on his debut for them in a pre-season game. So it bodes really well for Tottenham if the youngsters go out and they actually play first team football. It bodes well. It bodes well for us because they come back fitter, stronger. And let's not twist it here. When you play in the Premiership, right, you don't get as many hefty tackles. You don't get people sitting on your arse as much as what you do playing Championship first or League One or League Two games. So it absolutely helps these players out by going on loan. And Agi is a good player. We saw it last season. He's a good player. He's a very, very good player. and he will go out and hopefully he'll go from strength to strength, a bit like Donnelly did, a bit like Devine did in Belgium, Vuskovic did in Belgium. Phillips had a good loan at Stoke last year. Lankshire's loan weren't that great at West Brom, but they've now got Ryan Mason there, haven't they? And Lancashire,
Yeah.
they're looking to take Lancashire back. They want Lancashire back. The thing that we've got, right, is we've got the other thing that we need to look at for our youngsters. We've got two ins. You've got is it Davis? Davis at I can't remember his name now. You've got the manager at Birmingham, who was ex Tottenham. He was the assistant coach to Ange, and he went and took Brighton up last year. They won the League One. You've got him, so he's ex Tottenham and he's managing at Birmingham. And you've got Ryan Mason at West Brom. They'll both be playing in the Championship. There is no doubt that they will be sniffing around some of Tottenham's youngsters to take them on loan. And because they've already worked with them at Tottenham previously and they know of them and about them, I think it will be good. Or you've got some breeding ground. You get me? You've got somewhere to send your players where you're going to turn around. Well, yeah, we know Simon Davis. It is Simon Davis at Birmingham. We've got players there, and they'll take them there because they've worked with them. Yeah, great shout. Graham saying Scott Parker at Burnley. Scott Parker at Burnley. If you want to give someone a Premiership loan, Scott Parker will know our players as well because he's worked with the youth set up at Tottenham as well. So the thing is for Tottenham don't have to look very far to send players on loans. The thing that Tottenham have got better at, and I will say this, the thing that instead of just letting players go out to clubs, Tottenham in the backroom team that they've got, they seem to have done their research about what clubs to allow them to go to, what kind of game time they're going to get, and they've picked some. There's not that many people that we can turn around and say, if you looked at it, probably 90% of the loans that we did last season were successful loans. The ones that weren't successful is obviously Valiz wasn't successful, and I don't think Lancashire's was successful. But everybody else that went out on loan last year, I think, had successful loans, and I think Tottenham have got better at that as well. So,
see, I don't think Hill's ever had a successful loan wherever he's gone. I think he needs to go this year.
Hill played really well for Girona until he got injured. He was playing in the Champions League and everything. Hill did well at Girona until he got injured.
Well,
but
I think he needs
it's
to
not
go
but it's not the Premiership, Ryan.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Thomas Frank will look at Hill as well, and will make a decision on Hill as well. That's the thing. You can't praise Thomas Frank and then beat up the players if Frank's turning around and saying, I want to see them in the flesh, and then I'll make my decisions from there. So, we've got to ride.
No,
we've got to ride with it. We have to ride with it.
Definitely.
Good morning, Yeti. I hope you're well, sir. Says big up LTEL, bro. I hope you're well, Yeti. Nice to see you here, pal. I hope you're well, mate. I hope the weather is good for you and you're not getting toasted out there. You then got Driller is a Frank that says, Jose, no breakfast. These young adults wake up around dinner time at the weekend. Okay, well, you're with me at the moment, Driller. Does that mean you'll be preparing dinner for your boys? Rain Man says, I'd like to see us get Premiership loans for a few of the kids. Yeah, like Graham has said straight after, look, Scott Parker at Burnley. You've got someone that knows the players. It's not that they've been at our club. These people that we're talking about have actually trained some of the youngsters because they've been youth coaches and then first team coaches. So they've seen the players' pathways. They've seen them come through. So they're fully aware of what we've got in the academy. That's the difference. It's not just saying, oh, he played for Tottenham. So, no, it's not that he played for Tottenham. It's that he's managed within the setup and therefore they know the players. Yet he says, I am well and I am getting toasted. Super. Just have a beer, Yeti. You normally do. Just have a beer, son.
I can't. It's too hot up here where I am, Jose, man. It's literally going to be like 30 degrees here soon. And I'm sitting indoors and I'm going to be absolutely roasting like an absolute pig.
I mean, you got a fan?
Yeah, I have, but I've also got the window open. There's my fan, but that's the only kind of fan I've got.
Yeah, but something to try and keep you cool. That's what I'm saying. If you've got a fan, you've got something to try and keep you cool. So, right. So we've talked about the players coming in. We're talking about the manager, and whilst we're doing that, I'm trying to see if there's anything that's been posted today. It's kind of weird because I've got two different setups for me, my ex, and one shows different stories to the other, and it's just like weird.
Have you got anything from Fabrizio Romano? Any information from him about any of our signings today, or anything? No.
I don't. I normally just see what comes up, but I can look up Romano. Let me have a look. Fabrizio. See, the thing is with these people, Ryan,
Yeah.
is that they say that we're talking to X, Y, and Z, and
Yeah.
we actually ain't. We're not talking to X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
The only time they get it right is when it's already been announced that someone's coming.
Yeah. See.
Right, what are they talking about? They're talking about Victor Gokras. He's talking about Crystal Palace in the Conference League. So he's just
But nothing
retweeted
on
a
us.
load of. He's just retweeted a load of stuff.
Yeah.
So official Bayer Leverkusen have completed the signing of Malik Tillman from PSV Eindhoven for close to 40 million euros. Liverpool are planning to advance for a new deal talks with talented winger Rio Ngonga. So he's a youngster. It doesn't. I don't really. To be honest, I think Fabrizio was brilliant in the early days of ITKs, right? But I
Yeah.
think so many people have jumped on this ITK bandwagon now that there's a whole host of people that you can listen
Check
to,
up.
plug into or whatever, and you'll get information from them, because what you see is Fabrizio retweets stuff that others have said as well. So say with the he's here, but say with the Morgan Gibbs White deal, when it's announced that he was coming or that we were going to go for him, right? When we did that, it was someone from the Daily Telegraph, Mickey Rourke or Michael O'Rourke or someone like that from the Daily Telegraph broke it, and from him breaking it, then Fabrizio retweeted it. Do you see what I mean? So
Yeah.
that what they're doing is Fabrizio is no longer the to go to man. There's a lot of people that he now retweets because they've said it first, type thing. Where in the olden days, he would say it first straight away. Right, and that's yesterday for Anthony Elanga. I'm just trying to see when I was looking at yesterday. When I was looking at all this yesterday, I had different stuff come up on my tweeting, but this is all different. I'm trying to see what it says here. Right, because I definitely read stuff this morning, or whether it's on my phone or not, I don't know. I am looking now. Right, sorry, let me just go back a second to Romero, Brian.
Yeah.
To me, I have a different opinion to you, because to me, Tottenham for far too long,
Mm-hmm.
have always sold their prize assets. And you can't build if you keep selling your prize assets, in my mind. So say we lost Gareth Bale, we ended up losing. Say that when we lost Ericsson, we lost Kane. Berbatov. If I'm going back further back in time, you cannot build a team if you keep selling your prize assets. And for me, on his day, Romero's the nuts. And for me, he's a prize asset. I do understand what you're saying. I just think that there was a lot of shit going on last year. Romero, I'm quite surprised, because Romero is anti-Levy. Romero, the amount of posts that he puts out, and he always blames the board. Never blames the manager, never blames his teammates, always aimed at the board. And I don't think the board like that, but what you do? What you do? But, Romero has always gone against the board. He says that the board shows no ambition, is what he said in the past. And, things will always be the same. If you have the same people, things will still remain the same. And he's always been like that. But for me, he's a prized asset. And you have to go in next season with Romero there. He's your prized asset. Go in with him. You know, him and Mickey van der Ven, they won't be playing high line football like we played before. They'll be playing a Thomas Frank system, and I think that they will be potent. They'll be a potent back four under Thomas Frank next year. Defensively, will be a lot more sounder under Thomas Frank. And for
Mm.
me, the first two centre halves that I look to straight away, and I know we've got Kevin Danso there. I know we've got Dragus in there. We've got Takai there now. We've got Vuskovic. We've got Dorrington. We've got Phillips. We've got Davis. I know all the players we got, but I'm going to straight away always look at Van der Ven and Romero to be my starters, my starting two centre backs. Unless things change over the summer, they're my starting two centre backs. And for me, I just think that we need to keep Romero and not just get rid of our prize assets. If we want to be real and we want to go forward in football, stop selling your best assets. You know, the only time you sell, when you sell your best assets, if you're going to do that, you sell them when when you can see that they're on the decline. No one else can see it, but you can, right?
Mm.
So when we sold,
Modric. Oh no, not Modric. That's a bad.
Sorry.
I was going to say Modric, but that's a bad example, isn't it?
No, Modric got better. Well, no, when we sold Modric, he actually got better.
Yeah.
Modric was a better player at Real Madrid than what he was at Tottenham because he, you know, when he went to Real Madrid, he went up levels and became an even better player than he was at Spurs. Modric at Spurs wasn't the same player that Modric is or was for Real Madrid. You know, they got him, we sold him, they got him, and he improved he improved 100% at Real Madrid. So to me, I wouldn't get rid of Romero. I'd keep Romero. I won't say at all costs because no one's bigger than the club, but I just don't think that we should keep going in and selling your prize assets. If you want to be real and you want to go forward, don't keep selling your prize assets. And for me, Romero stays. Um, the fact is that you know we plead poverty, so do Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid don't want to stump up the money that Tottenham think he's worth, and I think he is worth money, Romero. But if they're not going to pay it, then you just don't sell him. You don't get your pants pulled down a bit like West Ham did by us on the Kudos deal. You just don't let him go. You keep him. So I'm a bit different. I'm a bit different on in that aspect.
Well, I've heard that Real Madrid want him now.
Well, when I saw Real Madrid play PSG, and guess what? We still got to play PSG. When I saw Real Madrid play PSG, Asensio and what's his name, the other one, Rudiger. Asensio and Rudiger, the two centre halves, they absolutely got cooked, and I couldn't understand it that they had Hussein, who they brought from Bournemouth, was suspended. They had Eder Militao on the bench, who came on in the second half really late, and I'm thinking to myself, yeah, Madrid, they might have a good. They might have bought Terence Trent Arnold from Liverpool, and he's decent, but I don't think that from what I saw, and unless they got players out injured, I think Furlan Mendy is out injured. I think he's a left back for Real Madrid, but I just saw it and I thought defensively, Madrid need to tighten up. I'll also say that when I watched the midfield for PSG the other day, Vitinha, João Neves, and Fabian Ruiz, Jude Bellingham, Valverde, and Tchouaméni absolutely got cooked by them. There's a lot of people that are hoping that when's the final? Is the final tonight or tomorrow night? Whenever the final is, it's not. Whenever the final is, right? The PSG players under the guidelines have to have 3 weeks off. Right, on a holiday, you got to take at least 3 weeks. So that means they come back a week before the Tottenham game. Now, there's two ways of looking at it. Otherwise, either they're going to be oven ready because they've played in this World Club Cup, or they're going to be undercooked. But we've got to play them. So I'm hoping that Thomas can pull something out of the bag because we've still got to play them. Right, let me just catch up with the chat and we can carry on. Where are we? I am going to be streaming from a cold shower at this rate, says Yeti. God bless you, mate. God bless you. Pace says, surprised Ten Hag is not buying former Ajax players at Leverkusen. Drew of the Frank says, no talks or negotiations for Cuti Romero between Tottenham and Atletico Madrid as reported earlier this week. The story is completely quiet and Spurs expect Romero to stay in the club this summer. Yet he says, Fabrizio's tweet, Forest are looking at this player. No discussions with the player yet or the club lol. So nothing then, basically. Too many clickbait posts kills the fun of the window for me. True, true, true. The Fresh Air, good morning to you, sir. I hope you're well. Says, none of Man United's class of 92 went out on loan before they made a senior debut. Do you think putting players out on loan is more beneficial than having the young players play together for longer? I think, to be honest, the game has changed, the Fresh Air. We now have Tottenham at the moment, 33 players, right? And I can't talk about many other clubs because I'm a Tottenham supporter. But if I look at someone like Chelsea, Chelsea have got a squad of about 60. They can only play 25, and then they send out 1 year. Chelsea sent out 48 players on loan in one season, and still played with a squad of 25 and sent 48 players out on loan. So, but back in the day of Man United, I think there was a clear plan and pathway that they wanted to amalgamate youngsters and they wanted to bring players through from the academy to get into their first team because it saves you spending money elsewhere. You don't have to make transfers. If you can make players good in your team and come through, it saves you spending money. And I think that's the route that Man United took, famously under Alex Ferguson, and therefore they didn't go out on loan. But times have changed. You see a lot of teams now, they won't give the youngsters any chance. They'll send them out on loan. So, and that's the difference. Yet he says, I used to love transfer time, but social media killed it. Too many wannabe journos who make up stories. Exactly, this is what I was saying earlier. Nita says, need to see Romero do better on the pitch for us this season. I agree. Jula says, Sky Sports just now, Spurs are hopeful the MGW deal will still go ahead. It will. He will sign this weekend. I've seen it on tweets already that nothing's been stopped by this. He will sign this weekend. It's been delayed by a day or so. He will sign over the weekend. So don't be surprised if you see it today or even tomorrow, but he will sign over the weekend. Hi, Jose Ryan in chat. Just popped in and saw all the birthday wishes. Thanks, everyone. Jim,
Yeah, happy
God bless
birthday,
you, mate.
Jimbo.
Have a great birthday. I actually sang you happy birthday, Jim. I sang it to you. It's not that we desperately trying to get rid of Romero. I basically agree with Jose, but if Romero has his mind set on Madrid, it might be better to let him go for the right price. Do you know what? I see what you're saying, Spud, and I see what Ryan's saying as well. And when you criticise the board, because that's all that Romero's done is criticise the board. He's never criticised the team or the players, the manager. It's always been about the board, right? Not showing ambition, not being this, not being that. Well, Mr. Romero, who I think hadn't come back yet. I don't think he was back in training. I'm not seeing anything of him, right? But with Mr. Romero, what I will say is, Mr. Romero must be looking at himself saying, Mohamed Kudus, Morgan Gibbs White. So he's hammered the board. He keeps hammering the board about showing ambition. We've now signed these two players. And so therefore he must be looking at himself saying, hold on a minute, things are changing. And that's what I want to see. I want to see ambition because he's always hammered the board. So, if I'm Christian Romero, I'm looking and thinking to myself, right, I might have thought about trying to, I might have thought, he might not have thought, but I might have thought about going elsewhere because the board shows no ambition. I've been here for 2-3 years and we buy youngsters or we're not going in the right direction. Of course, I want to, but now that I'm seeing that we're showing ambition, hold on, So he could be thinking that. As I said, to me, you don't keep selling your prized assets over and over again. People are all saying, happy birthday to Jimbo. Yeah, everyone. And he says, any news on the Morgan Gibbs White, please? Yeah, they're saying that the signing will happen this weekend. It's still going ahead. The signing will happen this weekend. So are you looking forward to the season then, Ryan? Even though we're not even started pre-season yet. We're still 6 weeks away, aren't we, from the league?
I think Liverpool play on the 15th, if I'm not mistaken, and we play on the 16th.
You might be right. I've not looked at the league. I've not looked at the fixtures.
I think I'm about right. If anyone in the chat can,
I'm looking now. I'm
confirm
looking it
or
up now because I'm I'm looking at it now. Go on. Carry on talking, and I'll look at it.
Yeah. So, am I looking forward to it? Yeah, now I am, because like for the last 2 seasons, I was like, I'm not watching no games because I knew how it was going to end. This year, I am absolutely excited. I can't wait to see how. I can't wait for the first game to be on TV so I can sit down, start going back to how I used to be, where I'm every time there's a miss that's happened, I call them this, that, and the other. I literally, every time we score a goal, I abuse the because obviously I can't get to none of the games, so I can just sit here and abuse whoever I like in front of the TV. Do you know what I mean? So I can then just turn around and say to the about the oppositions how silly they look and everything. And that's not the actual words I would be using. I'll be using a lot more colourful words, but that's the kind of way that I usually am. But for 2 years in a row, I was just like, here we go. A goal's going to happen. I just was like, could see it coming. This season, I'm going to be back to how I was, and I'm going to be literally cheering the boys on all the way to hopefully a FA Cup final or a League Cup final, or even better, a Champions League final. One of those three, hopefully.
Fair enough. Right, so Tottenham play Reading next Saturday at Reading. Then we don't play for 1 week. So we've got a week after we play against Luton. And then nearly a week after, on the 31st of July, we play Arsenal in Hong Kong. Then 4 days later, we play Newcastle at the Seoul World Cup Stadium in Korea. So sorry, my bad. I said it was the third game. It's actually the fourth game in, right? Then we fly back, and 4 days after that, we play Bayern Munich at the Alliance Arena. So that's got something to do with the Harry Kane deal. That they said that we'd play a friendly against Bayern. I think we played them last year as well, didn't we? There was a home and away fixture. Yeah, there was a home and away fixture that's been put in. So you've got that. And then on the 13th of August, we play Paris Saint-Germain in the Stadio Friuli in Udine. So that's 6 days after Bayern Munich. So in the space of a month, if you like, from July the 19th to August the 13th, we are fitting 6 games in. First 2 games are a week apart, but then the last 4 games are 4 games in 2 weeks. And that is Arsenal, Newcastle, Bayern, and Paris Saint-Germain. I'm saying that by the 19th, by next week, before that game, he would have already decided what players he wants and doesn't want. And if he's still umming and ahhing, I think he would have decided after the Luton game. I think a lot happens before we play Arsenal on the 31st of July. In the sense of he'll know by then these players have got to go, and these are the players I need. These are the if we haven't bought any more players up until then, which I think we will have done, he would have said, right, I still need this, and this. Right. So that's your pre-season games. And then going into your league games, Tottenham's men's fixtures, we kick off on we kick off 3 days after the Paris Saint-Germain game. We kick off on the 16th of August on a Saturday, and we got 3 o'clock kickoff against Burnley.
Well, so I was right then when I said that. I think it might have been the 16th. I was correct, yeah. Well, do you know what? I've got a weird feeling that we actually go out to Udinese, yeah, right, and actually win. But the big question that I've got for you now, though, Jose, is, well, when we play Newcastle and Arsenal, do we win either of those games or both of those games, or do we win neither of them? What do you think?
Pre-season friendlies for me, Ryan, right, have always been, I mean, playing football, because I've played football as well, pre-season friendlies are all about sharpening up, getting your fitness, new patterns of play and stuff like that. Yeah, at the end of the day, if you win, you win, and if you lose, you lose. Now, nobody wants to lose a game of football, right? But the results are not the be all and end all, because we can go out and win every pre-season game, which is probably what we did last year. We won most of our pre-season matches last season. look how we did in the
I
league.
think so. Yeah.
Look how we did in the league. So at the end of the day, to me, I don't know whether I'd be looking too tough. I'd be more looking at the performance. I'd be more looking at the style of play. How are we looking? What are we doing? Are we doing anything different? You know, what systems have we set up like? You know, that's what I'd be looking at more than, you know, we should. This is not a league game. If it's a league game, Ryan, I want to win them all. I want to win them all if it's a league
Yeah.
game. But in pre-season, I'm looking at it and thinking to myself, I'll be looking at other things for when I'm looking at games in pre-season. Because last year, like I said, we won every game in pre-season last year, I think, and then we ended up getting absolutely smashed in the Premiership. So,
Yeah.
Big B 1882 says Romero's back. He was in the last 2 training videos. Thank you very much, Big B. I think I need to then go back and look because the last videos that I saw, I've only seen 2 training videos, and it was the training video where all the youngsters and there was Vicario, Spence, and Porro was in it. And then I saw the next one where I saw Benton Core return, and I saw Ease Bissouma return, Brennan Johnson returned, and players like that. But I've not caught up there because I've not seen the ones that had Romero back. So I'll have to have a look at that. Dark Crow says, "Happy birthday, Mr. Jimbo." There's a lot of people that are saying happy birthday to Mr. Jim. Yeti says, "We should play you in a friendly, and the winner gets Morgan Gibbs White," says Yeti. Jimbo says, "Looking forward to seeing how Frank lines up us up, Jose. We know he likes different formations." And it's exactly what I just said a minute ago. I said, look, I'm looking forward to seeing, you know, what he's got for us. He's not a manager that comes out and picks the same system week in, week out. They study the opposition and they pick a team that they believe will nullify the opposition and give his team the advantage. So he will change things up. It will be different. Nita says, "Waiting on my grandkids going to a party. Their primary school is closing down. It's at Stamford Hill. It would not surprise me if Spurs buys that building. My grandkids are now 20 and 14. It's a shame schools closing down. Far too many schools, pubs, clubs, you know, far too many of our local stuff that we use or that we used to know when we were kids closes down for these big developments to build on. It's just a shame. And in London, obviously, London's prime, and London keeps getting built on upon built on upon built on, and it's just one of the most heavily populated cities in the whole of the world. Yeah, you lot are not messing around, and big up to you. The Morgan Gibbs White thing will sort itself, and you won in Europe before Arsenal, which is hilarious to me. Take care, all. Yeti, take care, my man. I hope you have a great weekend. I have to Frank Bounce. Need to take care. Thank you for listening to us and popping in. Side dancer. Hi everyone. Any news on Gibbs White? It's happening, Si. According to the people in the know, it's still going to happen. And it will be this weekend. Pre-season is just about getting players up to match speed, says Graham. Let me have a look. Let's see what we got here. Big B says Madison might play on the wings because Frank's 10 are workhorses. Kulu and MGW are perfect. Someone called Shemtam called for this earlier. He said instead of where's Wally, we need to see where's Chang. Speak and you shall find. Look who it is. It's Chang the man. Hello, Chang.
How are you doing, Jose? How are you doing? Hi, everybody. Chang here again. It's been such a very, very challenging and almost a life-changing month it's been for me since we did episode 13 of Jose and Chang back in June. If I got my dates right here, we did episode 13 of Jose and Chang way back on the 15th of June. And the less said about that episode, the better. For all the wrong reasons. I'm not going to go into that. I do apologize once again for showing up a good half hour late for that show. I did go back and read the exchanges between us, and I can see where the misunderstanding happened. But that's all in the past. Since then, since episode 13, we've had a new manager. We've also had a few signings in the door. Hopefully, fingers crossed, Morgan Gibbs White is going to be that new signing just around the corner, hopefully to be unveiled over the weekend, but we shall just wait and see. Very, very excited, it's got to be said, for Kudus. And I know we had another Japanese in through the door, but if anything, I am now salivating over the prospect of adding another midfielder to our already, packed midfield. But before I go any further, Jose, I would just like to run this by you, if you don't mind, as a sort of icebreaker, as I just joined this members calling show. If you had to prioritize, and I will ask Ryan this as well. I'll ask Ryan this as well after you've answered Jose. If you had to prioritize these three midfielders in terms of your top priority to maybe the bottom priority in terms of which of these three midfielders will you sign? Paulinia, Adam Wharton, and I think there was another midfielder we are interested in. I can't remember his name now.
Douglas Luiz.
That's correct, Douglas Luiz. So, Jose, among these three names,
No.
Douglas Luiz, Paulinia.
Because it's a members show. Ryan will always go first. It won't be me because I'm not the member. I'm the channel holder. So Ryan, if you're asking the question, I'll let Ryan have a pop first. So Ryan,
Okay,
you've got the three players, yeah. So Chang's saying if you had to prioritize, it's Adam Wharton, João Paulinho, or Douglas Luiz.
Well, in any order, yeah.
In any order, who would you prioritize? Yeah, who would you prioritize? Yeah, he's asking.
Well, it would be Paulinho first, definitely 110%, because he's got the experience in midfield. I wouldn't be upset about that in any way, shape, or form. Then it would be Douglas Luiz. The reason why is because he's Premier League proven and he has got the experience that works exceptional in it. That would be perfect in that position after Paulinho. And then I wouldn't even want to talk about the last one because that's another kid that we don't need any more kids at this club, to be honest. And that's my personal opinion, because we've got too many kids at the moment. If we have any more kids, it's going to be literally like what is it? Kindergarten FC. That's the word I'm looking for.
If you're asking me the question, Chang, my answer is slightly different. My third player, so I'm going in reverse order, would be Douglas Luiz, because Douglas Luiz is not a 6. Douglas Luiz is an 8. He's been shoehorned. People want to shoehorn him into a 6. I think that if you're going to get a 6, get a 6. If you're going to get an 8, get an 8. And for me, Douglas Luiz is more an 8, and people try to shoehorn him into a 6. We've just bought Morgan Gibbs White, who is an 8. And I think Morgan Gibbs White as an 8 offers more than Douglas Luiz. So unless we're selling more of our midfielders, right, then I'm keeping Morgan Gibbs White. I want him, and Douglas Luiz would be number 3. My number 2 is João Paulinho. João Paulinho would be the number 2 for me, because João Paulinho is 30, 31. João Paulinho has not had a good last 2 years in my eyes. So, you know, is he? And I don't know whether he's as mobile as what Thomas Frank. Thomas Frank looks for mobile players. Thomas Frank is looking for players that can get about the pitch, and I'm not sure whether João Paulinho's got the legs to get around the pitch and fit the system, as well as my number 1 pick would be Adam Wharton. I know that he's young, but he can get around the pitch. He breaks up play. He just does it simple. He breaks up play, passes the ball. When does Adam Wharton ever lose the ball? If you look at Adam Wharton, I haven't looked here, but I'm sure that my eye test is better than reading stats. But from the ice and what I see, Adam Wharton, I think if I was to look at the stats, I wouldn't be surprised to see that he never loses the ball. He just breaks up play and he gets about effortlessly. He's got long legs. He gets about. So he's got, people call it levers. He's got long levers. He gets about and he breaks up play and he's effortless. He just gets the ball, plays it off. Simple. He's a progressive footballer. He doesn't pass the ball back. It's always forward. So, but when you're looking at players, you're looking at different price ranges as well. Adam Wharton is probably going to be nearer the 70 mark. João Paulinho, you can probably get in for about 20, 25. Douglas Luiz will probably be about, I'd say he might be even cheaper than that. But let's say 20, 25 as well. You're looking at different price ranges. Obviously, as well, on top of that, you're looking at English tax. You're also looking at a player of 21. If you sign him on a 6 years deal, you're going to get 6 years out of the fella. So you're going to get his best years. If you've got someone like Paulinho who's 31 already, you won't sign him to a 6 year contract. And, you know, looking on further, is there any value further on down the line on Paulinho? Douglas Luiz is another one who's probably in his mid 20s to later 20s. He's not going to get a 6 year deal either, you know, and we're signing players at the moment and we're giving them 5 and 6 year deals. And to me, and you're looking for resale value just in case. And for me, I just think everything makes sense to me that I would go for Adam Wharton, especially on what I've seen on the eye test. And remember,
But
Douglas
then,
Luiz hasn't played. Douglas Luiz hasn't played in the Premiership for 2 years because he's been at Juventus, and Paulinho has been off the ball for me for the last 2 years. Anyway, last year at Fulham and at Bayern Munich, he's been off the ball as well. So, but as I said, it's all opinions. I'm not right or wrong. It's just opinions. Let's hear what Chang's got to say. What are your three, Chang? Because Ryan's giving you his, I've given you mine. What are your three, Chang?
So I think my tree is more or less somewhere in between both of your trees, in which that's well, you have that you have a good a good take on Paulinho, being in his early 30s. That for me would be my bottommost priority, or rather the least of my priorities in terms of signing a midfielder. I think we have to build for the future. I think the days of us signing Perisic's or even Fernando Llorente's is in the past. We need to get, at the very least, someone who's in his mid-20s, if not his early 20s, especially if we have a view of building for the future, which seems to be the case. We are still trying to get the Takais in and also some other youngsters in through the door. But yeah, I think Paulinho would be my, the least of my concerns. Then with Paulinho out of the way, there's only room left for Adam Wharton and Douglas Luiz to duke it out between the two of them. I honestly feel, and this is why I asked this question before I ask the next question to the panel as well to the people in the chat. The priority for Wharton and Douglas Luiz actually depends on our outgoing. And I will start this first now. The next question I had, I will answer the next question
Before you start
yes,
asking this question, can I just catch up with the chat?
Yes. Sure, go ahead. You go ahead.
Right, so Madison might, I've read that one already, so that one's right. Right, so you've got people saying, Mr. Chang, from Graham. You've got, yeah, okay, I understand. I thought you was coming from Spurs perspective. Nita, hi Chang. The Fresher, hi Chang, nice to see you. Drula says, Graham, I love the sun, but not in London, only if I'm near a beach. Exactly that. Jimmy Hotspur says, Chang sporting the 16-17 kit. My favourite, always reminds me of Kane in the mask scoring against Arsenal. Drula says, hello to the young Chang, good to see you. David Shear, good evening to you, David says, good day, Jose Chang, Ryan Cobbers, and good day to the chat. Good day to you, mate. I hope you're well. And he says something about India. He's trying to rile me on the cricket. David Shear then says, about time, getting MGW. I've been saying it for 3 straight years. David Shear, in conversations I've said to him, David Shear has said that he really likes Morgan Gibbs-White. So he has said that. So, David, you and someone called Brian Daigle, who's also shouted out for Morgan Gibbs-White for a number of years now, you are both must be extremely happy men. Probably the happiest, I would have said, in the community, because you've got a player that you've both been shouting about for 2 to 3 years. Graham says 2 away from 50 likes, folks. Yeah, well, 50 likes would be good. So if you can hit the like button, people, and get me to the 50 or beyond, it'd be brilliant. David Shear says, anyway, got to go. My Aussie Rules teams is playing. Big up Chan from, look, have you seen the Harmless Potato? He's not called just the Harmless Potato. He's now Harmless Potato. But look, he's got the Europa Trophy next to the potato. See the Europa Trophy? There we go. He says, go India. Yeah, go India. I'll give you go India. Friendship, friend drop at Genoa is available too, Sister Fresher. He better show up now, he says. Now that we've bought him, he better show up. So, Chang always comes with a bit of a difference. So, what question have you got for Ryan and then me then? Sorry, can I just confirm? What was your 3? Confirm your top 3 in order was?
Okay. Before I answer this top 3, I have to ask the next question because the next question actually ties in with my top.
No.
Okay,
Give us
I'll answer them first.
Yeah.
I will say Douglas Lewis is my top priority, followed by Adam Wharton. And the reason I say this leads up to my next question. If
and
you
so
had
your
to
number 3,
prioritize,
your number 3 is João Paulinho.
that is correct, yes.
We've got Ryan at João, Douglas, Adam. You've got me at Adam, João, Douglas, and we've got you at Douglas, Adam, João. So all 3 of
That
us
is correct.
our number 1s and our number 2s and number 3s are all different orders. And that's why football's about. Football's about opinions. We all have an opinion. So it's all about opinions.
So yeah, the reason why I asked this question actually ties in very closely to the next question, and it's also a sort of top 3, but this time in terms of our outgoings. If let's say you had to prioritize from top priority to get him out the door before we bring in another midfielder, if you had to prioritize 3 midfielders between, say, Bentancur, if you had to choose between Bentancur, Bissouma, and a 3rd midfielder, I will leave it up to you whom to choose to add in this list. A 3rd midfielder that you would like to see out the door, just so we can make way for the new midfielder. But since I answered last, I'm going to go first this time around.
Okay.
For me, I think it's a no-brainer for me. If I had to prioritize which midfielder I would like to see out the door, just so we can add Douglas Lewis or Wharton or even Paulinho, I think it's got to be Yves Bissouma. Not that they have anything against him, but he's been blowing hot and cold for far too long. And that incident with the balloons almost a year ago now, before preseason got started proper last season, that just didn't sit well with me. But I am happy for him that he did come good for us in the Europa League, and especially towards the latter stages, he played a very, very pivotal role for us in getting the Europa League. But I will still prioritize getting Yves Bissouma out first before we bring in another midfielder. The second midfielder on my list, assuming Thomas Frank has taken a liking to Yves Bissouma and he thinks that there is another midfielder that he would rather see out the door rather than Bissouma, the second midfielder is going to be Bentancur for me. And this has nothing to do with the remarks that Bentancur made about Son or Asians in general that led to him being suspended earlier this year, back in January. I don't know about you, but the Bentancur that we've had for maybe the past season or 2 isn't the same Bentancur that got us a Champions League under Conte. And I mean, there could be a number of factors as to why this is so, but I think that in order to balance up the squad and to sort of have the experience with, the youngsters, we need to sort of chop and change in terms of our age group. And let's face it, Bentancur isn't getting any younger. He was already in his mid-20s, I believe he was, when we got him from Juve. And that was, a few fair years ago. So if I had to choose someone else other than Bissouma, it's got to be Bentancur. And then last but not least, my third midfielder, and this is going to be a bit of a shock. This might come as a bit of a shock, but I think this sale, if it is to be a sale, has to be done just so we can free up some funds for maybe Adam Wharton if we are very, very serious about Adam Wharton. If Adam Wharton comes, I think another young midfielder has to go. There's absolutely no more place for too many youngsters. I believe Mr. Ryan himself said it best when he, when he labeled us nursery FC or kindergarten FC, and we have far too many youngsters that are, vying for places. So if we do go for Adam Wharton, I think it only makes sense for us to sell Pape Matasar, but he would be the least of my worries, or rather, he's maybe ranked third in terms of outgoings for me. But yeah, if I had to select three midfielders to sell, just so we can make space for one midfielder, I will prioritize Yves Bissouma first. If we can get him out the door, then that should pave the way for a new midfielder. If not Bissouma, then Bentancur, and last but not least, Pape Matasar. Having said that, as always, back to you, Jose.
Ryan, your priority
Yeah.
for you.
I'm gonna go from 3 to 1. My third place, and this is probably gonna be like throwing a grenade somewhere, but I don't want this to happen in any way, shape, or form. But it's because I love this kid, and he is absolutely brilliant. And this is why he's third and right at the bottom of my list. Would be Bergvall. Now, obviously, that's why I've said what I've said. Secondly, in my second place, I would go for Bentancur, just because we need to keep him. Realistically, we need to keep him around just for the experience. Nothing more. I don't. Whatever he has said about anybody. Yeah, it was bang out of order. He shouldn't have said what he had said, because I don't agree with any sort of comments that are derogatory against anybody. But I'm talking about on his playing style. He is as good as any other midfielder we have that has experience in that midfield. And the most likely one that I would want gone, because he's had chance after chance after chance after chance after chance, would be Bissouma, because he's been given so many opportunities. He's broken them. He's let the club down God knows how many times, and he's just now saying that he's good. It could happen again under Frank, and then Frank will turn around and say, "Well, I've had enough anyway." How many chances have you had in the past? He'd ask him and say, "Well, this is ridiculous. There's no point that we keep someone who's going to be taking air balloons or whatever you want to call them." And he has to go now. He has to. He broke not just my trust, but I think he broke a lot of the other fans' trusts when you look at it in the long run. So I've got to say, yeah, it's Bissouma's number one. Has to be 100% gone. See you later.
Right, so to confirm, right, Chang, your top three is?
So my top priority will be Bissouma, followed by Bentancur, and last but not least, Pape Matasar.
Okay, Ryan, your top three was?
Bissouma, Bentancur, and Bergvall.
Okay.
Bergvall being at number 3.
Right. So you're talking about, so Chang's asked this question in relation to how will we, who would you sell in order to facilitate the incoming, if you had an incoming 6? Yeah, that's the way the question I think has been framed. Right. I'm going to give you a different answer because I did my research just now, like I do, because I'm going last. Right. So my first priority out the door is Bissouma. For a whole number of reasons. He's got 1 year left on his contract. You're not going to get nothing from him next year. The only chance you got to get any money for him is now. If we're gonna, I did say earlier before Chang joined the show, a club needs to have incomings and has to have outgoings, and you've got to balance the books, whether you like it or not. You can't just keep spending money. You've got to bring some money in. Whether you've got a net deficit, it doesn't matter, because by bringing money in, you're still helping that deficit. So you could spend 300 million on players. If you don't sell anyone, 300 million you shaked out. But if you spend 300 million on players and you bring 150 in, then really your net spend's only been 150, which looks better than spending 300. So for me, the first player out is Bissouma, right? Because he's got 1 year left on his contract. Where it gets interesting is my second player out is Mana Solomon. I don't have to pick midfielders, because the way that I look at it, we're so short in midfield that if you get rid of midfielders, right, at the moment we ain't got enough midfielders. Yeah, so if you look at the midfielders we've got Bissouma, Bentancur, Sarr, Bergvall, Archie Gray, you're going to put him as a midfielder, Morgan Gibbs White. 6 midfielders we've got. So I'm not forcing 3 out the door. I'm forcing people out the door to get money to bring in the 6. So therefore I can't look at midfielders only to get out the door. So priority is Biss, I'd say Solomon, and then it's, for me, I'm really stuck. It's either Son Heung-min or Richarlison as my number 3 to go out the door. Because then like that, you're getting rid of what we don't need and bringing money in at the same time. So, yeah, at the end of the day, for me, I'm not going to pick midfielders, because unlike it said football's about opinions, I've heard what you've both said about Bentancur. For me, Bentancur is a top quality player. He had a horrendous injury, one that normally footballers do not come back from, right? And to add at that, when he came back, and I thought he was brought back early, and when he came back, he had another horrendous injury, separate injury, that set him back. Sorry, the Bentancur that we get won't be the Bentancur that we've seen before. We'll just be lucky for him to get minutes and to try and build himself up. I think last season was a case of him building himself back up and getting trust back in his legs and stuff like that. Because if you have a horrendous injury like that, in the back of your mind, you must be thinking, shit, if I go into a tackle, it might happen to me again. You know, or, you know, I don't want to feel rough. And so you might play steady and build yourself up. So I think this season we're going to get a Bentancur nearer to the Bentancur that we had under Conte. And the other thing I will say is the systems that Mr. Thomas Frank plays will help Bentancur's game more than the way that we played him last year. Because when we played him in a 3-5-2 system under Conte, he looked the best player on the park all the time, Bentancur. When we played in that system, when we were playing counter-attacking football, he looked the best player on the park. Last year, Bentancur's best games for Tottenham were when we counter-attacked. So not when we went out and we controlled the ball and stuff like that, because other players did the ball running. So I think that with Bentancur this season under Thomas Frank, you'll see the best. You're going to see the best Bentancur, the best version of whatever Bentancur is at the moment. We will see under Thomas Frank this coming season, because as I said, last year for me was him getting belief back in himself and strength back in his legs. And you know, when you have a horrendous injury like that, you must be the back of your mind, I can't go for that tackle again, because if I do it again, if he suffers the same injury again, the ACL again that he had, if he suffers that again, he's out. He ain't coming back from that. Not as his age, he's out. He ain't coming back. He's not 21 years old where you've got time to build up. He'll be out forever and a day. So for me, I would go in a different route, and I wouldn't pick the 3 midfielders. And the reason I'm not picking that is because I don't believe that we've got enough midfielders in the squad to say, you know, we'll get rid of a midfielder. It's a bit of a cheat, but I had to think about it. But it's a bit of a cheat, but I had to think about it. Sorry. Does that satisfy you, Chang?
Very, very satisfied with your answer, Jose. And I think it's very important that Thomas Frank has a say in all of this, whether it's the incomings and the outgoings, because we've seen for ourselves how, Levy or even Enoch might sometimes prioritize club signings over excuse me, over managerial preferences, as has been very evident in the past. We've had so many Kevin and Kudus and Clinton and G's, and even I can't even remember what's the name of that Portuguese loanee we had when he
Which
was
one? Jedson Fernandez.
not Jetson Fernandez.
The forward.
Yeah, the forward who was playing with us during COVID.
He plays for Fulham now.
Ah, yes, that's right.
Oh,
Okay,
Vinicius
yeah,
Junior.
him, whatever his name was.
Carlos Vinicius.
Vinicius, yes, Vinicius. Oh my goodness.
Oh, not
Oh, it's been
Vinicius
so long
Junior,
since I even uttered that name, Carlos Vinicius. But yeah, back to my point. The reason why I asked both these questions is that this is the time, if ever, if we are going to be spending crazy money, whether it's on Morgan Gibbs-White, whether it's going to be on Adam Wharton, or even on Kudus, which has already been completed, I think it's very, very critical that Thomas Frank be completely satisfied with all these signings. And speaking of signings, there was this tweet by Fabrizio Romano 3 hours earlier, roughly around 9 a.m. British time, in which he mentions that no talks or negotiations for Cuti Romero between Tottenham and Atletico Madrid, as reported earlier this week. The story is completely quiet, and Spurs expect Romero to stay at the club this summer. So I think this is a big statement from both Romero and also the club. Romero, first and foremost, I think is the timing of his his message for Big Ange on the same day we announced Thomas Frank did ruffle some feathers. A lot of people interpreted it as a sort of a dig towards Daniel Levy and the managerial board. But if this is true, that he is indeed staying, then I fully welcome it. I have been a very, very big proponent and a supporter of Romero for a good long while, even when he was at times prioritizing Argentina over Spurs. For me, I think there is no greater calling in any footballer's career than national pride. So I do not begrudge him for that. And it's good to see that he's staying. But there's another thing that caught my attention early this morning, and it was a bit of a shock for me. Although this is absolutely nothing to do with Spurs, but since this is, after all, the off-season, and we haven't even had a pre-season friendly underway, I'm just going to ask you this, Jose, and also to Mr. Ryan, and also to the people in the chat as well. What do you all make of this Crystal Palace being demoted to the Conference League? Because this came out of the blue. This came out of nowhere. And it completely caught me by surprise. I really feel for them. I really do. Because if that was us, if we were the ones who had won the FA Cup, and we find ourselves being relegated to the Conference League and not be rightfully where we are in the Europa League, then I would be properly, pissed. So, what do you make of it, Mr. Ryan, of Palace being demoted from?
Just before you answer it, Ryan, afternoon all from Jess. Good afternoon, Jess. I hope you are well and enjoying the weather or not, depending whether you like hot weather or not. But stay safe, and it's really nice to see you. And then you also got Hanno. Says, hi, Jose. I hope you're all doing good. Good afternoon, Hanno. Good afternoon, Hanno. I hope you're well, sir, out there in South Africa, and I hope that you are well. It's been a while. I think you're looking forward to your final against PSG, Hanno. Good luck. I don't mean this horribly, but I'd like to see you lot go into some crunching tackles on their players. Sorry, Ryan. Go on. Up to you.
Yeah, just a couple of things. Chang, You can just call me Ryan. You don't have to put Mr. in front of it, mate. You're good. You're good. I know it's disrespectful, mate, but hey, you're good. Just call me Ryan. It's easier that way. With Palace, I'm in the same as where Chang is. I think it's a bit disrespectful for them because I feel like if that was us, I would be a little bit hacked off. But the thing is, though, right? It's the rules, unfortunately. And the thing is, it's so difficult to try and say one way or another because I'm looking at it from a neutral point of view here. But then if I'm putting my Spurs hat on, that I might have to put my little tinfoil hat on now and say, look at it as a Spurs fan, I would turn around and say, I don't care if I'm looking at it from a Spurs point of view. But from a neutral point of view, I do feel sorry for them. But the rules are the rules. But there's not a lot you can say or do about it. And then obviously, they're not going to have as much money as what they probably could have had if they were to have taken the Europa League over the conference. But at the same time, you've got to abide by the rules. Because if you don't abide by the rules in real life, you're going to prison, or you could potentially go to prison. Do you know what I mean? So, when you factor it all together, should they really even have any kind of European competition? No. Not as a Tottenham fan. I don't think if you've broken the rules, you shouldn't. But like I said, as a neutral fan, yeah, I mean it's more than welcome for them to actually have the Conference League, and at least it's going to give them some money to generate. But afterwards, after Jose's answered, I want to ask you a question afterwards, Chang, and then if obviously Jose wants. I think Jose might or might not want to answer, but there's a question I want to ask you after. So I'll let Jose answer now, and then I'll come back in with my question after.
Right. So before I answer, Gus Parker, good morning to the doctor. Good afternoon to the doctor. It's now afternoon. It's gone past 12:15. So it's good afternoon to the doctor. I hope you're well. Nice to see you here, mate. Nice to see you here. Right. So my answer is. I don't know about disrespect to Crystal Palace. I don't think there isn't any disrespect at all, to be honest. There are rules within the UEFA competition that says that you can't be owner or part owner of more than one club playing in the same competition. And it's quite clear that Dexter has got involvement in Olympique Lyon and in Crystal Palace. They're both in the Europa League. So therefore, there's no getting around the rules. And it's for Crystal Palace so far have not been able to prove to UEFA that Dexter hasn't got the interest in Crystal Palace and in Lyon that dictates that he's not a foot in both camps. It's quite clear that he has a foot in both camps at the moment, and that's why they've been expelled. And they've been dropped down into the Conference League because Lyon are already there. I knew the writing was on the wall on Tuesday when they announced that Lyon had won their appeal against Ligue 1, against the decision to demote them or relegate them to the League 2 or League 2, League 2. So the minute that they won their appeal for that, it means that they're reinstated, means that they are now playing in the Europa League. Because what Lyon did that say, and fair play to Lyon, I've got to give them the props. They turned around and said to UEFA, we're appealing the decision against being relegated. If the decision does not go in our favour, then we will drop out of the Europa League. They said that. But they've won their appeal, and therefore winning their appeal means that they then stay in the Europa League. It means that Dexter has got a foot in both camps, right? And having a foot in both camps means that you can't have them both playing in the same competition. They knew the rules before it started. I think what they've tried to do is they've tried to do the best that they possibly can to change his either to get rid of his shares or change the structures at Palace to make it that he's not affiliated to both clubs. They haven't proven that. They've now been taken out of the Europa League. So I don't feel they would have known the rules beforehand. So I don't feel in any way that they've been, unduly done by. However, with saying that, Crystal Palace are entitled to appeal that decision, which I believe Crystal Palace are doing. So it may well be, if they win their appeal, because Dexter apparently has sold his shares now to, I don't know, some big boy in America who owns one of the American football teams, I think. And if it's a case that he's got rid of whatever he's done at Palace, then there could be a possibility that Palace do win their appeal and that they do go back into the Europa League. At this present moment in time, the way things stand today, right? The way things stand today with this situation, to me, is that Crystal Palace, the players like Wharton, Guehi, Eze, their assets at the moment, if you're going to play Conference League football, it would be to me that they may have something in their contracts to say that they could go to Champion League teams or whatever. So I think with them being in the Conference League at the moment, it means that they could be rich pickings for other clubs to go in for them 3 players or any other player for Crystal Palace for that matter. So that's where my thoughts stand on Crystal Palace. I don't think they've been hard done by. I think that everybody knows the rules about owning 2 clubs or being part of 2 clubs, and they obviously haven't satisfied the panel at UEFA that Dexter's not got a foot in both camps at the moment. However, that could change under appeal. We've got Kiwi Spurs. Good evening to you, says Big Up Jose. Thanks for the membership. No worries whatsoever. I gave out 10 memberships the other day, hence why Ryan is here. Ryan got one of my memberships as well that I gave out. So that had to be done before the March 31st day, Jose, for any club to stop that type of thing happening. Quite possibly, Jimmy, but I know that they've appealed it. And like I said, if they don't win their appeal, I just think that everyone knew the rules before starting. And if they don't win their appeal, then you've got the issue with them with their players. Their players might want to then leave and go to other clubs. And I don't know, Palace may want to cash in because Palace may have had a transfer plan for this summer, and they were planning for the Europa League. But then the money that you get from Europa League, you can get less in the Conference League. So your plan of action for transfers may have had to have changed because you've now had to drop in the Conference League. How that affects their outgoings and how it affects people's contracts, I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there that it could be an issue. Ryan, you were going to say something.
Yeah, I was just actually wanting to come in with a question actually for Will Chang, and if you wanted to answer it after Jose, that's entirely up to you. Now, I don't like Solanke and I don't like Richarlison, right? So if we sold both of those, who would be your 2 priority strikers that you would enjoy having? Now, mine would be a Wisa, and it would also be an Ivan Toney. Over to you, Chang. And then if Jose, if you wanted to answer after that, sure, up to you, mate.
I think I did answer this question no sooner after the season had wrapped. I think it was either episode 12 or was it episode 13 of Jose and Cheng, or it could even be the final ever match week post-weekend review over on Kate and Jim's The Perfect Match. I have mentioned even before the final that as soon as the season is done, we should sell both Richarlison and Solanke and even throw Sonny in as a sweetener just so we can get Harry Kane back. For me, there is no other striker that is more suited for Spurs than Harry Kane. I think his 2 seasons at the Bundesliga with Bayern Munich has been very fruitful for him. He has won the he has won the Bundesliga with Bayern Munich, and with that, both him and Eric Dyer have broken their no trophy curse as Spurs in the same season as us, if you believe that. So if I had to sell Richarlison and Solanke, might as well throw Son in as a sort of bargaining chip to get Bayern Munich to to part with Harry Kane, because I would love to have no one better than one of our own back in N17 to see if we can try and break Alan Shearer's record before he drops off. Not that he's going to do that anytime soon, I think. What with the World Cup just around the corner now, with a full year's preparation. So yeah, to answer your question, Ryan, I think I'll go for Harry Kane. But if Harry Kane isn't viable, then I think the next best choice will be maybe a Lautaro Martinez. He is available from Inter Milan. That would be my next choice. Or failing which, if Martinez himself isn't available, then I think this is a tough one because I only had Martinez and Kane, but maybe Erling Haaland is definitely out of the question. There's no way we're getting Haaland, but this is a tough one. I think I'll just stick to Kane and Lautaro Martinez for now, because I honestly haven't even got a third lineup, assuming we even can get both Richarlison and Solanke out the door. But having said that, thank you so much for that question, Ryan. And thank you so very much as well, Jose, for having me on. I have to depart in about a minute from now. But before I do, I like to just leave with this little bit of a tidbit, which has just flashed upon my screen. This just came in about an hour earlier, a few minutes before I joined. The source of this is from Sky Sports. Okay, Sky Sports are now saying that Nottingham Forest consider Morgan Gibbs-White's move to Spurs off, and they are in consultation with lawyers over how the approach was made. So this is being reported by Sky. I honestly think that.
Gang.
Oh, yesterday. Okay.
That was yesterday.
All right. So maybe I'm getting old news here, because this is over on X, or Twitter as it was used to be called.
Yeah,
but,
it was yesterday's. It was yesterday's news. That was. Today's news is that Tottenham believe, or the club are confident, that he gets signed this weekend.
I, for one, feel that it's only a matter of time before we get Morgan Gibbs-White over the line, assuming that the paperwork is all in order and we have met the clauses, and there is nothing that there's nothing that Forest can do to hang on to Gibbs-White once we've paid off that fee. But fingers crossed, Jose and also Ryan, that this isn't the last signing. I really do hope that Morgan Gibbs-White isn't the last signing. Hopefully, we get another midfielder in, which goes back to my very first question when I first joined. But having said that, thank you so much again for having me on the past hour. It's been a very thoroughly enjoyable hour or so. I wish every single one a very, very happy weekend. I hope that we will all reconvene again in about a month's time when we do face PSG in the Super Cup. That's going to be something to look forward to. Having said that, it's Chang, over and out from Southeast Asia. Have a fantastic weekend, everybody, and I look forward to seeing each and every single one of you soon, okay? Having said that,
yeah, I'll just send you a message in the private chat. I don't know if you saw it, Chang, but have a look at the private chat, all right?
Okay, sure. Yeah,
All
I will give you a call later after my dinner, okay?
Thanks for coming on. Take care, Chang. God bless you.
Take care, everyone. See you all again soon, okay?
See you later.
Bye-bye from now.
Sorry, Ryan, before I answer your question, I don't know, my dogs are barking, so there must be someone at the door. Dakaru has gifted 10 channel memberships. It's very kind of you, Dakaru. They have gone to the Two Marks Show Cookie, Harmless Potato, Ryan G, Queen Ellie Madders, Lee Whiskid, Scott Colliver, Kuva 99, the Mile High Hotspur, Nape the Ape, and Paul G. Thank you very much. It's really kind of you. And Dakara has then said, my goodness, I won the lottery with that one. Ryan G, the potato, Queen Ellie, Lee, Kuva, Paul G. So Dakara actually knows a lot of the people that he has gifted out to. And you don't gift that because it picks and chooses at random. So thank you very much. Right, let me remove Chan because he's stuck on my screen in the background at the moment as well. And he's just come off. Right. Dakaru, God bless you, mate. Thank you very much. What I will say to people is I did put a message in there earlier to say to people that this year, because it says consider becoming a member if you wish, as this season prediction show will be members only. So I've done this for 2 years now, this prediction show, and this year I'm going to go because it's a lot of work, a hell of a lot of work. And this year I'm going to do it as members only because of the amount of work that it takes. So therefore, if you've got a membership on the day that we start doing it, it will be a member chat only. So the show will be there for everybody, but the only people that will be able to put predictions in will be members. So today's what, July the 12th? So I think that these memberships will run out. These memberships will run out just before the season starts. So when the season starts, it will be members only. So just to let people know. But thank you very much, Dakaru. God bless you. Well done. And yeah, thanks for supporting me, Dakaru. You've been with me from day one as well, mate. So thank you very much. Ryan, in answer to your question, I think Richarlison, with his injury record, I like Richie. Richie will always give you 150% in whatever he does. He'll always give you 150%. Whether that's enough for some people, whether it's not enough for some people, can never ever doubt Richie's commitment. He will die for the cause, always has done, always will do. But the number one asset that anyone has got is going to be availability. If you're available to play and you're available for selection, that's your number one asset. And he's just not been available enough in my eyes in the last couple of seasons at Tottenham. When he is available, like I think Tottenham Rangers said it earlier, 11 in 11. When he's available, brilliant, absolutely fantastic. But then, to me, I think we need to probably upgrade and look for a player that's going to be. I mean, you're taking a risk because anyone can get injured, but there are some people that get injured more than others. But for me, I'll take the chance on if I can bring someone in on moving Richarlison on and bring somebody else in. Unlike you, Ryan, I am a Solanke fan. I think Solanke, the bread and butter of a striker is always going to be people are going to say goals. And maybe he didn't score enough goals last season, but the amount of selfless work the guy does for the team is just unimaginable. He gives you 200% in what he does. Now, Thomas Frank, if this is where I go back to the manager now, Thomas Frank, Solanke is Thomas Frank type player. Solanke does and can do what Ivan Toney did for Brentford. And Thomas Frank has said this already. Solanke is this type of player. He will sharpen Solanke up because he will be coaching Solanke. Him and his coaches will be coaching Solanke. So whatever Solanke's got at the moment, he'll be given more tools to his armory by the coaching that's done at Tottenham. So therefore, you're then looking at who can you bring in. If we're going to have to bring a striker in, who can you bring in? I'm not going to go for all the sexy names that people are going for. I'm going to look at someone like, if it's got to fit Frank and the way he plays. So if I look at Frank with Mbeumo, Vissa, Ivan Toney, Igor, who's out injured at the moment, or Sade, the players that they have playing in the front three, the player that would, for me, would probably fit a Thomas Frank, and it will be either as a striker on their own, a number two striker, so a side-by-side striker, or someone that can play out from the wide flanks and that. I'd look at someone like Luis Openda, who plays out in Germany. He's young, Belgian. He's rapid he's so quick. He really is lightning. The old saying used to be shit off a shovel. Well, that's exactly what he is. He's super quick and he frightens people. So I would look at someone like a Pender to fit the system that Frank wants to play. Because the thing that you've got is if we all believe that Frank's going to adapt to in games and adapt to opponents, it means that the pawns that he's got, i.e. the players that he's got, he's going to have to move them around. And the luxury that we've got at the moment, we were talking earlier about Morgan Gibbs-White, about Kudos. You know, we talk about someone like Kulusevski can play down this way, can play that way. All he's got the players. He's got pawns. He's got players that he can maneuver into different positions to suit the system and formation we're going to play. I'm super excited, Ryan. I'm super excited by what Thomas Frank and the team, including his coaches, can bring to Tottenham Hotspur. And it's also interesting to me that Thomas Frank's no mug, and neither are his coaches. If they see players ain't at it, or players ain't going to be doing it, or players ain't for it, then what he will do is he won't select them and he'll move them on or whatever. So it's a blanket sheet. It's a brand new pad, a brand new writing pad for everybody. This is your chance. You go and impress that manager. You want to stay, you want to be involved, you want to be in the mix, impress. So, you know, where some people in the past may have thought, well, I'm going to get picked week in, week out, whatever happens. Nah, under Frank, that changes. You got to reassert yourself all over again. And that then changes. And also, you bring in new players, that's competition for you. And that makes you think, shit, man, I've got to up my game. And all I want to see from the team, we know we finished 17th last year. So obviously, straight away, you want to see an uplift on that. But we don't want to just see an uplift, do we, Ryan? We want to see a heavy duty seismic movement, because you're saying top 6. So that's 11 places. Yeah. So we've got to really raise the bar and raise the levels. And I believe that with the manager and his coaching staff, Ryan, for me, I think we're going to do that.
Yeah, and do you know what, right, Jose? The only reason why I was saying as low as 10th at the before we got the anything done, and it was only Frank, right, and nobody else, I was like, this team is not bottom half, but it's in the top half, and but the lower echelons of the top half. That was before the signings came in. Now that we've got the signings in, I can't predict us to be anywhere lower than top 6 next season. I just can't. And then if we get any more signings in that are with quality, that are quality that walk straight into that first team again, I'll be changing my prediction to probably top 5 or top 4, depending on obviously who it is that comes in.
Yeah. Jesse's saying, good idea, Jose. So this is about my the predictions league. Jess, like I said, I've been doing it for 2 years. It's I think we had 140 players last year throughout the season. People come and go, they drift in and out, and at the end of the day, it's just so much work. And I won't be doing the WhatsApp stuff that I was doing last year as well. It's just too much work. So I just thought to myself, do you know what? Just keep it to members, because if you keep it to members, they'll keep coming back. And it just means you've got your own private time with the members that do support you. So that's the only reason that I've decided to do it that way, because it will give a lot more space to, and the banter that you have between the members. So when you get your locals, like you do as well, just on your channel, you get your main core group of people. The banter then continues, and it's, you know, some people coming in new to the channel don't understand the banter and think you're having a go at each other, but you're not. It's all coming out of the right place. It's all coming out of love. So Dekari says, lol, I give memberships and steal them away in inches from the starting line. That's me. Disappointment all the way. And then he says, we needed Solanke. He was the big man who went into the box to give other players space. His strength was his off-the-ball work. Totally agree. It's what I said. For me, I think Solanke, not everybody, because everyone can have opinions. And, you know, I don't have to have the same opinion. Some people just look for goals, because that's a striker's bread and butter is the goals. And some people say that they want goals. But for me, I look at the all-round work he did, and I think that under Frank, the goals will come, because he changed Ivan Toney. Ivan Toney was... Who was Ivan Toney before he went to Brentford? He'd been someone who got booted out from Newcastle when he was a youngster, then became a journeyman, going to different clubs, ended up at Brentford. Look what Frank made him. Mbeumo, when he was bought, who knew about Mbeumo? Look what Frank made him. Johan Visser was brought in. Who was Johan Visser? Look what has been made of him. Do you see what I mean? So I'm super excited of what he can do for the players at our club. I've admired what he's done for other players at his club, and now I need to admire what he's going to do for players at our club. Speak and you shall see. Look at that. Kuva's here. Good afternoon to you, Kuva. I hope you and the boys are well, mate. He says, I rate Timo Werner's off the ball work too. The further off the ball he is, the more I rated him. You've got to give it. Kuva is the one-line merchant king. Well, him, and I will say him and his three Spurs boy compadre, Bobby K. They come in with some superb one-liners. And just says, you put a lot of hard work in, mate. Yeah, I believe I do, and it's I've had time to calm down now the season's over, and I'm not rushed because I don't have to make sure that predictions are making sure that everyone's all right. And so yeah, this year I'm going to make sure. Well, as I said, it's going to be members only. It's the only fair way that I can see doing it, and it then gives me time to do the stuff that I need to do and fit in time, because I had to fit a lot of time into doing the predictions league and getting it fitting it in to make everyone happy. Dekaru says, I want to take back my Cuba 99 membership. Timo forever. And then he's got a lull next to it. Anything else you wanted to discuss, Ryan? You've had a good go at it today, ain't you, mate?
Oh, mate, I've tried to. But then, do you know what? It's funny because, like, ever since me and I don't know if you know of Paul Connor, who's on Dave's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the two of us, yeah, right. We've actually just started up a channel together. So
Yeah.
it's been kind of fun to have me and you, literally me having my own time because he's away at the moment. So like, it's been quite nice to actually come onto someone else's, because I tell you what, right, it's funny because he hasn't been around for the last couple of days. I've had to bring someone else in to try and match me pound for pound, literally, and it's been great. But I do miss Paul a little bit, and I'm just enjoying where we are at the moment. But we've only got 19 subscribers, so it's a bit of a shame, to be honest.
Well, put your channel link in there, or put it into the private chat, your channel link, and I'll plug your channel link. So put it into the private chat, and I can then post it on the link.
Would it
Gus
work?
Park, yeah. If you put it into the private chat, then just do www.youtube.com/@ and then your channel, or just put your channel name in there. Put it into the private chat.
Okay, yeah, right. I'll put my channel name in there. It'll be easier that way.
Yeah, and then I can type it out for you. Gus Parker says, I've never done membership before. Do I have to give you DNA or anything? Come on, doctor. You should know the answer. You are the GP. You are the doctor. You should know the answer. And then Dekaru says, hope you're well, Cuba 99. It's been a while. Right. Talking about Damiola Ajay. Remember I said earlier?
Yeah.
They're currently playing now, because this is posted 1 minute ago. They're currently playing against Stamford AFC in a pre-season friendly, and Damiola Ajay has scored in the 33rd minute. So that's 2 in 2 games for Damiola Ajay. So he scored again, boys and girls. He scored again. Right, so it's 10 minutes ago. It's come from someone called Sasha Tolaveri. Says, despite having been in contact with Fenerbahce and attracting interest from AC Milan and Juventus, Yves Bissouma has expressed his desire to stay at Tottenham, or at least in the Premier League this summer. So that's just coming out there now. What you're going to see, Ryan, is you're going to see a load of different people saying a load of different things, and it will contradict. One will say this, one will say that, one will say this, and one will say that. And at the end of the day, you don't know where to put your hat on. Do I put my hat on that statement, that statement, that statement? For me, I don't read too much into it. I just wait to see what happens. It's the easiest way of me looking at it. Just wait to see what happens.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, at the same time, it's difficult when you're so hyped after having 2 signings coming through the door, and then like you have a couple of days where you've got nothing, and that kind of like is a bit of on a dull thing, isn't it? Really, sometimes.
Yeah, really. Right. Is there a gap between in your channel link? Is there a gap, or is it together?
I think so. Yeah,
There's a
it's
gap
got the
because
it's got the badge of the Tottenham label with badge with EST 2025.
right. I'm going to put it in because I don't think you get. You've put it in as a gap, but you don't get a gap on. You don't get a gap, so
On
I put it in there.
YouTube.
So yeah. So sub to Ryan and Paul over at Playful Spurs. This, if you sub to it now, this will not take you away from the show. It just means that you can sub to Ryan and Paul. They've got 19 subscribers. Let's help them out. Let's get them up because if you get to 50, you can start doing lives and stuff, can't you?
Well, we've done a couple of lives already, but one 2 lives, but one was to wish Dermo had a get well soon recovery video because he's been in hospital. So we've
I
done
thought we had
one
to.
for him.
I mean, it's so long ago, but 2 years ago, I thought I needed to get to 50 before I could do something. So basically, you're on 19. I don't know whether it's changed, but let's try and get you up to nearer 50 anyway.
Yeah, let's
So
try
that
and get us up to 15
so
because
there you
we're
are.
literally yeah. What we're doing is we've got like we're going to be doing quizzes. We ask questions of like there's actually a question that we've asked about old Tottenham history stuff, like who said this or whatever kind of thing. So that's that kind of thing. We're doing pre-match, post-matches. We will once we've got ourselves monetized or to a certain standard, we are going to be doing fan shows and absolutely everything. Like, well, not everything. The only thing we're not really going to be doing is like watch-alongs, but we want to make it as interactive for everyone, so they can literally have their say as well. So it's kind of like debates and everything, but calm, nice, easy debates, if you know what I mean.
Well, you've already got a sub because you've got Jess has already subbed. She says subbed
Oh,
Jose.
thank you,
So
Jeff.
she's already subbed. Don't know whether you know our Jess, but she's a Leeds and Liverpool supporter, has her own channel. Very, very good channel and that. Very chilled, and she's got a right good community and a right good gang over there. Dakara says, oh no, sorry. Kuva says to Dakara, big up, mate. Yeah, I'm barely on YouTube lately. I've retreated into my video gaming cocoon until the new season. Really. Understand it. Dakaru says, I like Frank. I think he's the right person for Spurs. My biggest worry is that he's a long-term manager and the club needs to support him. I'll be gutted if they don't. Dakara's returning back to Cuba saying, yeah, I'm the same. I've cancelled my PL streaming. I'm too old for sitting up for 3 a.m. games anymore. And then you've got Jesse saying to you, good luck with your channel as well.
Thank you, Jess.
So no, but what I was saying is that it's a member show. You've come on as a member, and you've had 2 hours, 2 3/4 hours of it, having a chat about everything. Do you feel that you've got everything you wanted out of it? You know, you were able to say
Yeah,
what
do
you
you know
wanted. You
what?
had your own time.
Yeah, do you know what? It's been nice. Like I said, it's been nice because all I've been doing is I've been literally having debates with people that I agree with 99% of the time, and it's just boring. So to literally have someone else who doesn't agree with me all the time, it's nice to see that. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like you've got different views where you think Solanke's probably. I'm only guessing that you think Solanke's the best thing since sliced bread. I can't say if that is true or not for you.
I didn't
But
say that. I just said that I think that he needs the goals, but I think he gives you 200%. But
yeah,
you got to give him a chance under Frank. But at the end of the day, like I said before to you, Ryan, football's about opinions. It doesn't mean that one's right or wrong. It just means that it's a different
No.
thought process. So, you know,
Yeah.
and I do understand what you're saying. If you go on channels where everyone thinks the same as you do, then it's just going to be a pat on the back channel. You're just going to pat each other on the back, but nothing new comes out of it. So sometimes it is
Yeah.
good to spread out, Ryan, and go to others who may have a different opinion and a different thought process, and like understand what theirs is, as well as people understanding what yours is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's what I
Nate,
like,
sorry,
though.
Nate the Ape has just joined. Nate the Ape, good afternoon to you, sir. You have been gifted a membership, and it was by Dekaru. He gifted it earlier to you. So if you want to say thank you, Dekaru is in the chat. Sorry, Ryan, gone.
Yeah, and like it's just nice though, because I mean the people that I speak to a lot, yeah, right, like Brian and people like that. And like when I'm in Savage chat a lot, right, we agree on a lot of things, and that's kind of boring as well. So like, to be honest, like I don't like Solanke. I like my strikers to be putting that ball in the back of the net. I don't need him working hard, running up and down that pitch. I want him just up there like a Jermaine Defoe kind of player, where he's in there putting the ball in the back of the net, and that's what I expect. Where like with my wingers, I expect them to be able to run past the man, take on a man, cross the ball in, and then get it into that striker. That's how. But I mean, that's why I think it's why I'm old-fashioned like that. Maybe I'm very old-fashioned and like just strikers banging, putting the ball in the back of net where someone else isn't.
You've got a. Dekaru says all opinions should be respected, and in brackets he says unless you disagree with me, of course. Yeah, Dekaru. And Nate the Ape is saying loving the shirt, Eltel. Yeah, well, that's the one shirt that I've got on at the moment, is the 125-year shirt. But have a look at this bad boy that I've now got as well. That is the bad boy.
That's beautiful.
That's the new away
the
kit.
new black one, isn't it?
Yeah, the new black one. But have a look, Champions League, mate. Champions League. And just to make it even better, look at that. On the back, my surname with a number 10.
Oh.
That is the top. That is the top, lads. That's the one. That's the one that I gave Levy money for last week, and that's the one that ended up helping the money towards Kudos and Morgan Gibbs White's transfer, of course, and by paying to go to the concert as well. So I put money into the coffers of Tottenham's transfer fund. That's my claim to fame for last week and this week.
But do you know what though? I'm gonna leave you out here, right, Jose? But do you know what? I've got to give him credit where credit's due with these two signings. He's only got 2% credit on in my books, but he's still got a bit of credit. But that is crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. He says Wales are the black kit. Then and Druda says nice, and Nate the Ape says I'm tempted to buy a shirt. Now leave you spending money. As I said earlier on the show, I'm not sure that it's Levy. It's Tottenham that's spending the money. Whether it's Levy or whether it's somebody else within the group that's doing it, somebody's doing it. So, you know, at the end of the day, carry on spending, Tottenham. You're making me happy. Carry on spending.
Yeah. We can't smile
right.
without you.
That's the one. That's the one. Nate saying kudos on MGW funded by Otto. It certainly was, mate. That's my claim to fame. I did a show on Thursday about that, but I felt that the trip to the stadium with my daughter, I took her. I had no intention whatsoever of spending any money other than the tickets that I'd bought. She gets this. She says to me, Dad, I need to go into the shop. I want to get some merch. Because every concert she goes to, she buys merchandise from the concert. So it was called the Legacy Tour that 50 Cent and Mary J. Blige were on. So at the end of the day, she's gone in, and I ain't interested in the merch. I don't give two tosses about, you know. I walked to the other side of the store and saw all the Tottenham tops, and I saw the black one. And honestly, my daughter said, Dad, that's really nice, that one. Why don't you get it for yourself? Treat yourself, because you never, ever do. And I was like, So she twisted my arm, right? So I got the shirt. There was I got the £85 one or £125, and I looked at them both. The £125 has got perforated holes in it, so it's more breathable. but it's £40 difference. But the tops look exactly the same. The material's the same and that. So I said, I'll go for that one. Got to the till to pay, and then the lady at the till says, do you want your name or a number or any of the badges, blah, blah, blah. And I said, no, it's all right. My daughter says, Dad, get it, because you never treat yourself. So I ended up saying, all right, what shall I get? She said, get the badge, get your name, get a number on the back. So I did all that, and then they turned around and said to me, 112 quid. I was like, what? So at the end of the day, it was all, it was my daughter that made me do it. But am I happy I've done it now? Yeah, I am, because I think the top is one of the best tops that they've had for a number of years. That one, I like the third kit. That one was really nice. So I ended up getting it. So, but there's a story for you. But yeah, my money helped get kudos, or partly get kudos, and partly get MGW, more gives what, and whoever else was signing. I have definitely put money into the. So that's my Tottenham. I've done my good deed for Tottenham. Descartes says, Sunday I'm going to get an Aussie Matildas national shirt with Kerr on the back. The captain is Sam Kerr. Thea Carew is my name. In my name is definitely not the Japanese version or the same last name. Ryan, Nate the Ape says, Ryan, do you have air conditioning? I don't know how you're wearing that hoodie. I'm melting here.
Well, no. Do you know what? Living up in Scotland, yeah, right. And I don't mind giving you not the exact. I'm not going to go out and dox myself, but I live in Greenock, so I've got my window open, right, and I'm literally sweating like an absolute pig. So, but the good thing is though, right? There is a breeze coming through, so it's not too bad. But good, and I'm only literally I can see the cloud from where I live, from my flat. So, because I'm right at the top as well. So,
yeah,
the only thing I've got to worry about is the bloody seagulls not coming flying through me window. That's my problem.
fantastic. And then you've got Drew Larissa Frank saying, so you bought Kudos' little toenail. Listen, as long as I took part in helping the transfer of Kitty, because it's always been about everything else we do is get money to go towards the first team. So I feel that buying concert tickets and getting a football top and buying drinks at the ground, because I bought me and my daughter some drinks at the ground as well. By spending that money, it gets reinvested back into the players. And, I haven't spent much money at Tottenham Stadium because I've only been there once before, and that was for the Everton game. And I only bought a ticket. I didn't even buy a drink, just a ticket. So now that I've spent money this time round, more money, I feel that, it's surely gone towards a transfer fund. Or anyway, that's what I'm going to think. Don't ever take that away from me, please. Nate the Ape says, I'm in Essex. It feels like 35 here. So both, the two ends of the country are totally different, because obviously it is warm in Scotland, but it's warmer down here. But it's more inland. So London going up towards the Midlands and going up towards Liverpool, the middle of the country has got it all. So from London upwards, the middle of the country's got the extreme heat at the moment. Maybe it says Kudus would never have come here without his little toenail. And Dekaru says it's barely 10 degrees here. You wear that hoodie with pride. And then Kuva is saying that little toenail could score a chicken dinner and pay for itself many times over. Hear that? That's true say. Right. Ryan, any final words for you mate? It's been a pleasure having you on, and thank you for coming on.
It's been nice for you to have me to come on, Jose, man. Jose, I'm calling you Jose, like Jose Mourinho. Sorry, Jose. I've got Jose Mourinho in the mind at the moment. No, just thanks for having me on, man. It's been a pleasure to have another conversation with you, even if it has been literally feels like 3 years. Well, actually, no, literally, I think it has been 3 years, hasn't it, since we last spoke?
No, it's been less than that, because I've only been doing this for 2 years. It's probably last year. You were doing a show on your channel, your one that you had, and I tried to get people to subscribe to you then, didn't I? Did I not stream? I streamed it to my channel or something. I did something in order to try and help you get some numbers. I remember doing that. It was about a year ago.
Well, it feels like about 3 years ago. But it's been great having the chance to talk to you again, man.
No, like I said, I've been watching you. I I watch you, and I've been watching you on other shows, so I know what your
Yeah.
opinions are on that. But it's not fair for me because some people here may not know your opinions. That's why I said to you today, tell people why and what you think, because they may not have heard why. So that's important for you to get out there and say what your opinions are.
Yeah, no, and that's a fair statement in return. But like Jose, if you ever wanted to jump on to Playful Spurs with us, or if
Yeah.
I ever needed anyone that desperately needed, I'd always give you a shout if you ever
No
needed
worries
to, mate.
whatsoever. I'm happy to help anyone out. People will tell you I help everyone. I'm happy to help
Yeah.
people out anyway.
Have you got
Just
an email? Like, I can email you just in case I'd ever need to email you.
yeah, I can get your details because you're in one of the WhatsApp groups I think that we're in. You're not you're not you're
No,
in the
I'm not. I'm not in any WhatsApp groups at the moment.
Paul is. Paul's definitely in the Irish Hotspur.
Okay, well, yeah, ask him for it then. But
Okay,
he's
all right.
away this weekend anyway.
That's
He's
all right.
away
It's
this
fine.
weekend.
It's no worries. You got
He's
so
gone, he's
Drew.
gone to Oasis.
Let's see. Drew. Yeah, I saw.
Yeah,
He's put a picture. He's put a picture in the group. Drew is a
yeah.
thanker. Says, did you video yourself doing the gangster signs, Jose? My daughter has videoed me, Drula, and her giving it to Many Men by 50 Cent. It's the only video I think she's taken where she's got us both going at it for Many Men from 50 Cent. Phil P and myself, we were dancing and singing away to Mary J. Blige, like two old men would do. But yeah, we definitely had a good time. It was a really really good time. So that's my claim to fame on that. We won the
Bet you were
Europa
singing
League
in
of
the club,
Johnson.
right? Yeah?
Sorry.
I bet you were singing in the club at one point.
Oh yeah, no, but yeah, we sang everything, but the only thing she videoed was that from Many Men. Dakara says we won the Europa League of Johnston's toenail. That could be a banger of an investment. See what I mean? We paid 50 million for Johnson, and Johnson scores the winner in the Europa League. Who would have known? Off his toe. Cooper says we should shine Tonali from Newcastle. Absolutely brilliant. Look at that. Good fun on a Saturday. Nate the Ape's laughing at that. Cooper says, and Ivan Tonali. Instead of Ivan Tony, Ivan Tonali. Drula says, whenever Kudos scores now, I will always think of the toenail. When Kudos and Morgan Gibbs White score, assist, just think of Jose. Jose went to 50 Cent and Mary J. Blige to knock this out. Any chance Sam Kerr has a brother called One? Hold on. We're getting a bit. Hold on. And look, Dakara's gifted a further 5 memberships. And these ones have gone to Dakaru. I don't know. They've gone to people that you know as well, mate. You've now gifted to Spurs Diehards, so that's Adrian, to Sir Rob Belcher, Rinketic Sport Agenda, Smithy, and Destiny 5. Yeah, today's memberships you've gifted out. Look at that. Rob Belcher straight in with thanks, Dakaru, a legend of the channel. So thank you very much.
Rob,
Good, Rob. I hope that you are
long
well,
time
Sir
no
Rob.
see, mate.
And then Judah says, "What have I started?" The toenails. What have you started? Jose, why aren't these people members? I know almost. What happens, Dakaru, I believe, is that during the season not being here, your memberships tend to drop because people think there's nothing to be going on. The other thing as well, in all honesty, there's some of you out there that have supported me and regularly reoccur. You regularly do it every month, so on a monthly basis you just automatically become members, and you've been doing it for a year. Some of you, some people, because you don't put out much content. And to be fair, in July, we're now the 12th of July, I've done 2 shows in July. I've only just done 2 shows, and I did one. I did more in June, but I've only done 2 so far. So you've probably got people that think I don't want to be a member during the off season, and that's down to people. Do you know what I mean? People can do what they so wish. But as I said, I'm hoping, not hoping, but because of the people that I generally get as members on the channel, which is, whether people like it or not, is a community. You all know each other. You all have banter with each other. You all have your own opinions, and you are very respectful to yourselves. And because of that, I've decided that this season coming up, the predictions will be for members only, because I'm going to give my time and effort to the members this year. Because although I like everybody, the members that come back week in, week out through thick and thin, they're the people that I need to reward more so than just every other person that comes into the channel. So this year, the predictions league will be done for members only. So the show will be open to everyone to watch, but the only people that will be able to type in messages and comments and their predictions will be members, because that's the way that I will set it up. So I think these memberships fall just outside. They run for a month, so they'll fall just outside from when the predictions start, because the league starts the 14th or 15th of August. These will drop off by the 11th of August. So if people then want to then take part in predictions, they'll have to get a membership. And if you don't want to take part, you can just view it. Just view it. You know, at the end of the day, it's your call. But thank you very much, Dekaru. And then Dekaru. So I've answered Dekaru. And then look, Rob Belcher's now gifted 5 channel memberships. It's really kind of you, Rob. And these have gone to Paddy Hartnett, Daz Reynolds, Carl Simpson, Roundtable Talks, that's Nick, and SDFC Benny. So today we have gained, let me see how many we've gained today. We've gained 1, 11, 21 new members today we've gained, which, yeah, brings the numbers up. I will be bringing out more content, you know, but at the end of the day, you all know me. I'm not going to do a show just for the sake of it. I won't rinse and repeat what's out there and repeat it the following day and then the day after that. At the end of the day, it's only meaningful if you, for me personally, it's only meaningful to do a show if you've got something meaningful to talk about, or as I did on Thursday, it was a tongue-in-cheek show that I did about how I put money into the transfer funds, and I did that to tell everyone the story of how it got about to me going to the concert and what I did and blah blah blah. And I did that, but people joined in. So you know, at the end of the day, I'm not going to, as I said, I won't rinse and repeat, but you get the same people that watch me Thursday are the locals, as I call them, the members, the people that come and watch me week in, week out. They all came to do it. So, you know, they all came to listen and stuff like that. And we had a bit of banter and all that as well. So that's good. So I'm really happy with that. He says, I'm tempting this, people. You almost get there, but the last step into predictions is up to you, says Dekaru. Correct, Mundo. And then you've got Drula says, great steam, Jose and Ryan. Big up all. And a couple of kisses for us. Thank you very much, Drula. Ryan, like I said, last word is yours, sir, because you have been the one that's been with me all day on this. We've just gone past 3 hours, Ryan. So have you got any final words for the gang before I strike off?
Do you know what, right? Everyone just has been absolutely great. I didn't think we would. Didn't even think I'd even last 3 hours. To be honest, I'm literally surprised I even lasted 3 hours, especially in this hot weather. I'm probably now just going to go for a walk and probably or do something that's getting me out of the flat, because I'm too hot and I just want to get out of it. But also, get on that Frank train as quickly as you can, because the seats are starting to run out quick. I've got the first class ticket and I'm on it. So everyone on that Frank train, choo choo!
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for coming on. Hopefully your Saturday started off really well, Ryan, now. In whatever you choose to do with the rest of your day, hopefully this has started you off in good stead. Dekaru says, thanks, Ryan. Well done. Appreciated. You can see at the bottom, he's put the last thing in. So now I need to thank the sponsors of today's show, and there's been a few of you. So you've got James, who came on earlier and became a YouTube member again, and then he put in a super chat. And then you've got Shem Tam, who's put in a super chat, 7-month super chat. Thank you to him. Vindaloo, thank you for the super chat to Vindaloo. I hope your hangover is better, my friend. Dekaru for his member chat. This is the start of Dekaru's train. Steve D for his super chat. I'm wishing Jimbo a happy birthday. Dekaru then gifted 10 channel memberships. Then Dekaru gifted a further 5. And then we got 5 gifted from Rob Belcher. and Drula for a 10-month member chat, thanking us for the show. So to everybody, thank you very much for watching today. Thank you very much for your contributions in more ways than one. It's not just about what you've done, but your chat as well is contributing. So thank you all. I wish everybody a great weekend. I will be back next week during the week. And I look forward to seeing all your smiley faces, and I hope that everyone doesn't get sunburnt and that you're all cool. But thank you very much, everyone. And as always, I'm always going to finish it off with, come on, you Spurs.
Tell, Cockerel, he's just a true guy. You'll have a true time. Tell, Cockerel, leave your troubles at the door. You know the game, you know the score. We're here to have fun, so holster that gun and read the writing on the wall. The predictions league done every week. It just goes on and 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 on. Why do I always get it wrong? Tell, Cockerel, he's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. Tell, Cockerel. Jose gets himself around, always talking Spurs wherever he is found, home or away. He always tips to win, throws the form book in the bin with a cheeky knowing grin. Tell, Cockerel, he's just a chill guy. You'll have a chill time. Tell, Cockerel. Every time I play along, tell Cockerel, the show is so chilled, your time is well filled. If you want good friendly chat, then here's where it's at. Tell Cockerel. Goes on and 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 on. Why do I always get it wrong? Tell Cockerel, the show is so chill, your time is well filled. If you want good friendly chat, then here's where it's at.